about why South African men do not date foreign women. Hey, Bona, can you just see a South African guy with a Niger woman? Hey, that woman would fry you. Guys, when it comes to Niger women, hey, they don't take nonsense. Guys, they don't take nonsense, hey? They like, I mean, a Nigerian woman is those women who will tell their men that you are stupid. Hey, they say it as it is, Bona. They say it like that, don't hide it. They package it, Bona. And Bona, as I'm talking about South African as I'm talking about South African women are flooding in this place. And another thing I've noticed about Nigerian women, they don't travel as much as their counterpart, as their male species. uh, Nigerian men, Nigerian women would actually go out for study, for maybe UK, US, South Africa. They will come to those places to study, and once they capture their what's making Ibituan, their certificate, they pack their certificate and they go back home. But the South African men are not the Nigerian men. Why am I sticking to Nigerian? Let me just. It's just that they are everywhere, right? That's why I'm talking about them now. When it comes to West African men, they are more open-minded. Hey, now I'm seeing the difference. The Nigerian men are more open-minded compared to the women. The women, okay, they want good education. They go outside, they get the education, and they go back. They go back to poverty. They go back to their country. They go back to who they are. But the West African mentality of men, they wanna go out. They wanna capture something beautiful out there and then go back home. But today I wanna touch. If you say no, come in. I am ready for a debate. MK Natural, come in. That's why it's called a debate, my love. Please request. If you agree, request. If you disagree, request as well. You are most welcome. Yes, let's talk about it. I am talking about my view. But if your view, MK, is different, you are so welcome. Come in, teach us. Come in. African are not dating foreign women. I have MK with me, guys. Let us welcome MK and let us hear what's her point of view. Hello, my love. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
So carry on before I comment. Let me not comment too soon. I was just saying no when you said that the women go back home to poverty and they're not as explorative as the male counterparts, which I don't necessarily think it's correct. I think it also depends on the geography. When people leave Nigeria, they don't necessarily see South Africa as the end destination. It's always in transit somewhere else. You find a lot of these Nigerian women in places like the States, Europe, and Asia. So it's all dependent as where. Not everybody thinks South Africa is the end goal, eh?
Which is also correct. That's why I said MK. Sorry, MK, let me swallow my bread. Which is what I said. You are most correct, and I agree with you. Now, I was looking more into those West African women that go out there to obtain education and then go back to their country. That's who I was talking about. I know that West African women are all over the place, uh, but I haven't seen a South African man who is married to a West African woman. So that's why I am saying at this point, they obtain whatever that they need to obtain outside of West Africa and they go back. Do you get my point?
I get your point, but if I'm to be very honest, because time is not on my side, You said it yourself. Nigerian women will not take half the kak that South African men serve on a silver platter. I'll just be honest, and I'm sorry if there are any guys out there, but Sis Naledi, you wanted honesty, I'll bring it.
Bring it
There's
on now.
certain
Bring it
standards,
on.
ne? That bare minimum that a guy is supposed to do that a West African or foreign man understands. If you're gonna step up to the plate, you must have X, Y, and Z. Not saying you only X, then you remove Y, then you bring it back again. It's not tolerated. And having lived in many African countries, I can honestly say it is easier for for you to get a woman in South Africa because I think apartheid really ruined the family structure. In other African countries, you don't step up until you've got your checks and balances in place. Otherwise, you just go home. So you can't bring someone who's used to that standard to now accept everything.
You are so correct, my love, and I like that angle. Is because West African women, they know what they want. And if it is not presented to them on a plate, they go. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now let's come to our women. Let's come to South African women. South African women, throw it on. Yes, we will take it. You want to have 5 babies outside? I will take it. You want to be cheating while you are married to me? I will take it. But a Niger woman will not stand for that nonsense. I've said it. Right? Today, guys, we are bringing the facts on the table. Hello, Tsietsi Dumelahle Abutuaka. Guys, as you are coming in, welcome. Mzala Jr., I've noticed none have ever agreed when being approached. Yes, Mzala, I thought maybe they don't like us. No, they don't like your way of living. They don't like the way, the empty promises that you are giving to. Oh, I have men. Oh, I love it. Guys, the panel, I love it that I actually have men right now. Beautiful stuff. Yes. Because me and MK, we are talking from a woman's point of view. Men, welcome. Jackson, thank you for joining the panel. Let's hear, let's tackle this thing in 2023. Why you guys are not going for foreign women? Please share with us. Hello, Jackson. Please unmute yourself and share. I would love to know.
Hello, Naledi and your followers. I hope today ditaba di tswa kaofela.
Bona, no filter. Jackson, today I said no filter. Today, no blocking. Guys, today I'm not touching my block button. Moderators, do not touch the block button. Let them bring out what is inside. Let us be raw as we can be. Why are you guys not dating foreign women?
One, when we say foreign women, are we talking in the cracks of Africa?
Yeah.
Up Africa? Okay.
Bona Jackson, let's take it within the continent and then go to Europe and then go to US. Let us just say why South African men are not dating outside of South Africa. We can take Botswana, we can take Zimbabwe, we can take Ghana, we can take Nigeria, we can take Kenya, we can go all the way to the United States of America.
Okay. I'm totally from Botswana. I'm from Botswana.
It's okay. Welcome. Shoot. Get straight to your point.
Okay. As you guys do ka gore why re sa tseye foreigners again. So to tell you the truth, I've never high ski ke akanyetse gore nka tsaya outside ke sa re gore go pause or something gore gore most of the time ne re twetse hela ba leng gore ba around us. Me, we always meet for different foreigners. We've got re neighbor tsarona ka ha Zimbabwe, South Africa, ha kala gore South Africa maybe ne re tselela gore ka gore we have cousins hela go. That's why re sa tsene thata ko go bone ne re ba tsaela as our sisters and brothers hela yalo maybe. And then ka ha but I've once dated a Namibian lady ne re le ko university. Mme a goletse mo Botswana wa bona, so ko home country e le Namibia. Ha nka ka gora ke re ke ka go tsaya as ke mo tsaya from there be ke mo tsisa ka kwano, ke ne ke mo tsaya as ka gore o nna ka kwana le rona, but we've never considered it. Ha ke itse ka gore a ke itse gore kana ka gore re godile hela go ntse re itse gore no, we just date within the country. Ha ke itse gore why re sa, but like you are saying, umphile le re gakolotse somehow gore re ta simola go gona re lebela outside re bona gore will it work, because mo ga tsela go le dingalonyana mo wa country go sa e go hela in this relationships. Yeah, I think that's what I can say.
Okay. And I think when that's also you were talking about a woman from but that's still within the southern. That's still within the southern Africa. But what we're talking about. But then, why for us South African women it's so easy to adapt to foreign men? What is it about you, our South African men, or Botswana men, or Southern African men? Yeah, let me keep it like that. Southern, yes. Now, King Leataba, or are you content with what you have?
To more my side, I've never tried it, but I don't mind it if somebody from Germany, gonna from Nigeria, gonna from Benin, Egypt, ang approach her. Kana ke bua le ena re dating and all. I don't have a problem with it. I've never tried it. It's gore ke ra gore like this so I've never tried it though. Gore
But
hela
Sis
like
Naledi,
I've
can I
never
step
tried it.
What
in there?
is it that is not
Okay.
taking you out from your cocoon, guys? What is it? Let me let MK talk because MK Utlotamaya. MK, say something and
So,
then I'm gonna continue.
so Tota, you said you have never tried it, and I think that's one of the issues is most foreign women are not going to approach a man. It's the other way around. They want to be hunted. I know. I think I made my point. I said the problem is most foreign women don't approach guys. They want to be approached. They don't hunt. They're the hunted.
Okay. MK, if I understand you, so South African men, South African women, do we actually go out and hunt for our men? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying if you go to places like Sandton, a woman, it's very easy for a woman to approach a guy. If you're talking about other African women, based on culture, they don't really do that unless they weren't really brought up in their home countries. They don't go and approach.
I hear
So
you.
because Kotle
I
was
hear
saying
that
that
point.
he would want someone to come to him, and I'm like, that's part of the problem is because they're not gonna come to you. You have to go to them.
Yeah. So are you saying as South African women, we know what we want?
Yes, you are more aggressive in that area. Yes.
This is something new. And I think this is maybe what even attracts foreign men to us. Anyway, let me hear from South African men. Why are you guys not dating foreign men? Begameva, I will take you and then I will take my brother. The Flying Zulu is here. Begameva, you are
All
next,
right.
my brother.
Thank you so much. And Sanbonan Nonke. I think firstly we need to be careful and know to because I'm worried about this thing of why don't you try foreign women,
Yeah.
because this is not a game, yabo. There's people who are out there for umjolo, and there's people who are out there for something serious, and I
Okay,
move around quite a
hold on, Pegameva. Can I just come in there because you triggered something in me now? So,
sure.
are you saying for just dating, for something that is not serious, you guys would go foreign, but if you want to settle, you will take your own women? Is this how I'm understanding you?
Not necessarily, right? So there's this type of men and women who say, hayi mina ngiyadlala nje ngifuna uku-experimenta ngizwile bathi ama-Nigerian aphethe in, and then there's also men who say, no, I just want to see vele ukuthi do these African women really respect a man like that,
Yeah.
so but when it comes to the true essence of relationship, umuntu uma umthandile irrespective of where they come from, right? And both women, South African and foreign, they want the same thing. They want to be taken care of. They want to be loved and provided for, and all of those things. So it becomes easier for a South African woman to date or to be with a foreign African man, because remember, with the culture yale phezulu Africa, these men are mostly independent from a economic point of view. They run their own businesses, irrespective of whether it's a legal business or illegal. But in their culture, that's how they are. Bayazisebenzela, they make their own money as much as they can, and which makes it easier for them to take care of a woman. So mina kusamele market, kusamele ngiyofuna isibani, ngithola leyo 3.5 leyo or leyo 5,000 leyo. I need to provide for this and that. Leyo 5,000 out here Nigeria can just give to the woman easy ayothenga inwele. While for me now, I still need to work on making sure that I can provide. Yeah, but so, and it makes it quite unique in how we look at it. So for me, it's not a matter of I wouldn't date a foreign national person, and we meet a lot of them who are foreign, and you connect, you have a conversation about, oh, this is quite a nice person. Yabo, but akuna bathini i-alarm in your mind ukuthi hey lo yi-foreign ngeke ngikhona mina nge-foreign. There's no, for me, there's no such a thing. Yabo, so we just need to be careful ukuthi singadlali ngeimpilo zabantu. I don't know if maybe I sound too serious. Because
I think,
these
Pega, I think I hear you, and I think your point is valid, my brother. I think there's a point where you said you will love the person for who they are, not from
yes,
where they are from. And
yeah,
I love that. And
yeah,
Pega, thank you for sharing, my brother.
awesome. For example, before I go, my wife is Namibian, in her lineage, and
Pega, you guys, you are still within the southern. I want you guys to
irrespective.
leave.
No, the thing is that's why ngithi awusinaleli ngithi it's not easy to say kiduzi kyanagana ngithi I need a woman from England, but if in my area there's a lady, for example, where we stay, there's a lady from who comes from the US, right? She lives with us now in South Africa. Someone else here in South Africa will eventually date that lady because now she resides here and
Oh, okay.
I understand. But it's not a thing I have it on my bucket list ke batla le American, ke batla Scottish or whatever the case may be. But through your journey of life, if I move now to America and start a life there, chances are high I'm going to start a life with an American. Not because my preference is.
But Pega, listen to this. When you have moved out of South Africa, you will be attracted to foreign women. But the question today is, why South African men, you are not bringing foreign women within SA? I am married to a foreign guy right now. I'm not attracted to South African men. Askis my South Africans.
I understand.
Yes. Nyanitanda,
So,
you are amazing. You are out of this world, but I would not settle for you.
but angithi uyayibona ukuthi ibuya naleya concept ebengisho ukuthi the foreign national guys, they have a different approach to life, and it doesn't make them better or worse to South Africans because of the
Right.
environment as phile kuyo and how we were socialized to life. So bona, as I was saying, let me give you this example, ne? Go to Hillbrow, go to Uval here in Joburg, where there are foreign nationals, and see how dilapidated the place is. Like they destroyed the place like it's But these are great people abanemali lapha. Their women are not lacking anything. And Isola, I met a lady from I think Polokwane. She has 4 kids with a Nigerian guy. Even how she looks, she has transformed to fit into the Nigerian image. How she does her hair, the kind of stuff she does. Obviously, how nyetsi Muzulu swantu lwena ube Muzulu in your appearance and whatever. Yeah. So so what I'm saying, Kihori, it depends on what you have been exposed to. And some of us, our women, South African men, hater. Guys, now where I'm going, I see a lot of stuff, right? We like for foreign national guys, rumang these girls sabona re ba tlise mo baleng teng, but mosadi o dutse ko ntlong le bana ba 4 re file o dutse ko ntlong le bana ba 4 o monyetse, so we as people, I think re a tshwana, re fapana ka matla, economic power and our emotional intelligence in terms of how we relate with each other from a relationship point of view and how we relate to society. But siyafana sonke, angiboni bakhona abangcono kunabanye.
Yeah, correct.
Yabona.
My brother, spot on. I love your last point where you said fana fan. Lezinto ziyafana at the end of the day. And
Yep.
I agree with you.
Sure.
Makeba, Ndabezita. Thank you, Bega. Thank you for sharing. I will see if there's someone who is waiting to be accepted. Ndabezita. Welcome, my brother. How are you?
Happy New Year, my sister.
Happy New Year and compliments of the new season.
I know, nyabong. Okay, so there's 2 things I would like to say in terms of this point. Point number 1, South African women are beautiful, Bafethu. We don't have to look far. Nje yabona sinabo Sibongile, sinabo ladies, sinabo Palisa. I strongly believe that we have the most beautiful women on earth. That's why even guys from other countries.
That's why you are not experimenting, because you have the best within your reach.
I personally believe that what we have is the best in the world. People can disagree with me all they like, it's all good, but I really feel, Guti. Look, I've traveled the world. Like I've lived in different countries. I've lived in Canada, I've lived in the UK, I've lived in different parts of the world for short periods, but still, I still want to go back and keep away Lipalisa Kasutu, and not that I'm saying Guti, women from other countries, Banjani, but what I'm saying is that we don't have to look far. Just around the corner, there's something really going on. Number 1, we have the best in the world. I can tell you here and now, you ladies have got everything. You just don't realize it. But South African women, okay, that's 1. Number 2, I also think, Oguti, the reason why we don't go for foreign national women, I did struggle with that when I was overseas as well, is that we have been painted so bad as Black South African men that women from other countries, when they look at us, they have this misconception that South African men are this bad. But at the end of the day, men are men. Whatever badness you find in South African men, you will find it in an English guy, in a Canadian guy, in a Congolese guy, in a Nigerian guy. All sorts of things happen. The abuse is not only just about South African men being abusive. The cheating is not just about South African men being cheaters. That happens all over the world. It's just that we have been painted so bad that women from other countries have got this misconception about us as South African men that we have to work extra hard to get there. Ukushela siyashela, siyabashela, yes. But then we have to work the extra mile because at this point we look so bad to the rest of the world. And I'm not gonna say it's women that make us look like that, but I just think the whole world think black South African men are I don't know, the bottom of the barrel. Like we like the worst that could ever happen to the humankind. That's why we don't even go outside, because the moment you start talking to a Congolese lady, a Kenyan lady, look, I lived in Kenya for like a year and a half, struggled with relationships. The moment they said I'm from South Africa,
Yeah.
it was bad. It was better in the UK, but in Africa, it was bad because look, I spit my game proper, but it didn't happen because they looked at me, ngazati, no, but you South African men are useless. Like that's the term they use. Apparently, we are
So
useless.
can I interject?
Cool.
So, okay, first of all, your first point, yes, South African women are beautiful. I think I would highlight that. I think when it comes to the Nyash side of things, it's a very blessed country. But there are also beautiful women, African women in every single country that I have been to.
100%.
I,
100%.
your
Hold on.
point about
Makeba,
looking at South Africa.
MK, just 1 second. Makeba, was that according to the nyesh, to the appearance, to the intellect? When you said our South African women have it all, because Mina, I don't have nyesh, but I do consider myself stunning. So, Makeba, please rectify that point.
So it's not just about Nyesh. You find the Wuti, for instance, when you're looking for something in the world, obviously you're not gonna find it 100%. So you may find a woman from wherever country, but you may find a woman in South Africa. She does not have Nyesh, but she has every other thing. So my point is, it doesn't matter exactly what it is because it's subjective, So, but South African women are generally and overall just beautiful women.
Thank you,
Okay,
Izzy.
so
MK,
And I'm not
MK,
saying women from other countries are
the
not
reason
beautiful.
from that point.
the reason why I mentioned Nyash is because a lot of foreign guys, at least that I come across, like South African women because of their figure. So that's why I brought that up. So, but just to get back to your point when you say that you struggled in other African countries, it's not it's the reputation. I'll be very honest with you because I've got several passports and one of them is South African. Is because of the xenophobic attacks. That's number one of recent that people are very like, no, we don't want to mess with you people. Secondly, and I'll be very, very honest, is also I think the physique of South African guys or Southern African guys is smaller. Like a lot of African women are accustomed to very manly looking men. So, I mean, we also have to, on the flip side, say, okay, if you say South African women are beautiful, foreign men are absolutely delicious in that regard. So I just wanted to level that.
Bona MK,
100%. I mean,
that
I'm
is a
short and
follow for
skinny.
you. Hold on, guys. Let me follow MK right now because what she said,
Look,
wow.
I agree with you. I'm short and skinny. I always tell women that if I walk into a room and you think I'm not your type, don't talk to me because the only thing that I can use is my speech. But my physique does not work for me. And look, I understand. You're making a valid point. So that's the thing, though, Wuti. We have a bad reputation, not even just about xenophobic attacks, but just as South African men, we are looked upon as we are useless. No matter how hard we try, no matter how good we do, no matter how far we get into this world, the fact that you're South African men, there's just that notion that he's from South Africa, and it just doesn't work.
Hold on, Makeba. Before I take KG, hold on. This thing that all around the world, there's a stigma around South African men. Where does it come from? Is it from the GBV? Is it from the xenophobia? Is it from a Zulu man wants this, a Xhosa man wants this? Because what I'm trying to say right now is that the lies or the stigma that is out there, it didn't send itself out there. It is our South African men that have painted this and agreed to this, and that's why it's out there.
Can
Sister
I
Lady,
try and answer?
Can I come in? I need to challenge.
Come
I
in,
need to challenge that.
KG. Let me hear KG.
okay.
Hi guys. I want to be more political. I guess let's come
Be
call it.
political, bona. Re kena mo
Let me
2023. Again.
let me first highlight. I have very little. I have experience, but very little. Not enough to say on a personal level. Dating foreign people. What is? So I want to highlight that. Most of what I'm gonna say is observational and statistical, and and analytical. Number one, media plays a very, 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 very critical role in this conversation. Ne? First of all, US is far high at GBV, guys. Let me tell you this. The US makes us look kind, number one. The GBV in SA is exaggerated. Our nature as Africans is exaggerated in order for us to continue to look down on ourselves, be looked down at, and continue to hate each other. So a lot of this is just nonsense. Lots of nonsense. Nigerian guys are very violent. Go speak to their women. A lot of these guys that you guys rate so highly are very abusive in nature. That their women, to the degree that their women spend most of the time being silent. You see them be dramatic and all that, but they know the hand is not very far. So in terms of violent nature and so forth, guys, I'll rate you highly. It is that keep in mind our media house is foreign to us. It does not serve us. It serves its own agenda. Number one. I need to highlight that very, 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 very much. Very, very, very much. To the degree that go look at how your white ladies in South Africa treat you as far as dating. You realize that you're a better pick over their counterparts. If a white man ever goes black, a white woman ever goes black, most of the case, they don't go back. That's saying what did not come from anywhere. So they did not come from the blue. I mean to say, white South African women love black South African men.
KG, hold on. I reverse hanyan. There's something that you said about Nigerian men being violent. Just elaborate on that.
Nigerian men exhibit a lot of physical male attributes in their behavior. As romantic as they can be, violent they can be.
Okay, hold on, KG. Maybe Makeba can say it in a nicer way. Makeba, what is he trying to say?
So I think what he's trying to say is that this is what I've observed as well, what I've seen. So I've seen Guma live as well. So look, there's violent men and non-violent men. And when a sister lady, you are in a very different situation versus what other people are facing. Because Nyama Zuba for good guy. Nonetheless, they are most African men, not just Nigerian, but most African men, including South African men, can get very stern in relationships, right? And they can abuse is not just only about South Africa. Abuse happens all over the world. There's so much going on when you go outside the SADC region that is worse than what happens in South Africa. It's just that it's not reported. It's just not reported. The issue is what we face is what's reported, but what other countries face is not as reported as what we face here. And what we face here is not as bad. Look, I worked in the UK at some point. There's so much violence there. It's crazy.
Yeah, when
it's crazy.
To the train. Yeah, to the train station. Yes.
It's crazy. It is so crazy. It is so crazy. There's so many women that face so much domestic violence in other countries. It's just that it's not reported. Yet here we do report quite a bit of it, and we still need to report more. So I think what he's saying is that we have a situation in South Africa where you find some foreign nationals as men, but these girls and they pay them, and they take care of them financially, but then they have to take all the madness that comes with the finances thereof. I'm not saying all foreign national men are like that. I know a lot of good foreign national men. One of them saved my life the other day, actually, like 2 weeks ago. But then it happens. It happens. We cannot run away from it. It happens.
Okay. It's just that, guys, I wanted UKG just to elaborate on that point. But let's not lose
Okay.
the topic. Let us not get
Yeah.
lost in the topic. So we're going to go back to why are South African men not dating foreign ladies? So back to UKG, and then I will take Andy next.
Okay, I forgot what other point I wanted to raise. I
Kodwa
forgot
kancane,
it.
KG,
But
ngicela ukwehla and give others a chance. I'll keep on coming on and off.
All right. Sure, my
Mina
no
ngiyifamily
problem.
like her, so it's all good. But I just need to say, ukuthi, we have this problem, ukuthi, even South African women paint us bad out there in the world, that we find ourselves, foreign national women, being as phony because we look so bad out there. The media, the people we're with, it's so hard to being a South African man that we just rather stick with our palisa who know us.
I hear you.
Yeah. But Bafetu, I'll be back.
All right. Makeba, on that note, yeah, thank you. I just want to add something on what Makeba said. Now, you said South African women, we paint you with a different paint when we are outside. We say our men are useless. But how are you guys painting us? How are you, South African men, painting Abonadate? Anyway, KG, did you remember your point so that I can jump to Andy?
I forgot, but in short, I'm gonna answer what you're saying. And this is one funny aspect about South African women. How you value your men is how you value how you behave in relationships. And I'm gonna start by giving traditional women the most credit. But yeah, I believe when a South African woman values her relationship, she can be one of the best in the world, in my opinion. Given certain cultures I know and have observed, they are very giving, very, very, very beautiful in a relationship. That's my just opinion. Is the problem when they don't value their relationship? Then that's where South African women become a problem. When they think they can do better and all that, that's when you see a very dark side to South African women. I want to depart from there.
KG, and I don't want to dwell on that. MK, let me let you have your last words so that I can make space there. Because when MK, you've been with me since I started. MK, your closure kind of thing. What would you say to what KG has just said right now?
Final thing before I leave, just to respond to KG. I think it's not, your point is valid for women across board. Any woman will respect and honor a guy if they're treated right in a relationship. So it's got nothing to, I don't think it's anything it got to do with South African, non-South African. It's a general female quality.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps maybe you have to look deeper into the treatment of their experience with a South African versus a non-South African to find out why is this woman being more faithful in the one relationship versus the other one, and why is then she then bad-mouthing one versus the other one.
Yeah, I hear you, MK. Let's take Andy. Andy, welcome, my love. MK, I'm gonna let you go, my love. Thank you so much. Please rejoin. Please rejoin before I close. You have one of amazing valid points there. Andy, welcome, Standwa Sam.
Hi, Asna lady and everybody. So I once asked an African lady why they wouldn't date a South African, and they said it's because they don't take care of their children. And
Hold on. Wait, Andy. You asked a foreign lady.
yes, if why they not date, would they ever date a South African man? And they said no, because South African men don't take care of their children.
Okay, I'm following. All right, thank you.
Yes. And she actually made me say, look at your grant, the children that are supported by the grants, the government grants. Look at how many single mothers you have. So if I date a South African man right now, chances of me raising that child by myself is 98%.
Yeah.
And I saw her point of view, and I think South African women, they date foreign nationals because of provision. I mean, a man must be a provider. A man must know how to treat a lady. That's what I think. Yeah.
I hear you. So when Andy, you are coming on the point that South African men over the years, they have proven themselves not to take care of their offspring.
Yes.
And
I mean, it's so easy for a South African guy to run away, impregnate you, and run away, and not even think of their own blood. Whereas in an African man would actually, some of them would actually think, hey, this is my child. I can stay in this and marry this girl. But a South African man, let's say 9 out of 10, they would run and come back when the child is 18.
Yeah.
Does a child need a father when they're 18?
I hear you, Andy.
They don't care even if it's my son.
I'm trying so much to digest that, as painful as it is.
Yeah, because she was like, even if, let's say, it's a boy, an African man would be like, my son, I will stay for the sake of my son. South African, run. Even if it's a boy, don't care.
I think I hear you, and I think I want to write this point down so that when I close, I can I hear you, Andy, and you stirred up something, and my guest request is going crazy now because I think people are ready to attack this point. And Andy, let's not even get to a boy child or it's a girl child. At the end of the day, someone is pregnant here. Someone is ready to deliver a child. Whether it's a boy, it's a girl, just stand, just be there for your offspring. Thank you for that point, Andy. Let me take the predictor. Predictor, welcome.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear my voice.
Loud and clear, sir.
All right. I also want to contribute something to your program. I'm a Ghanaian, not a South African, but I would say that the South African media and the other Western media has never done good for the men. And then sometimes the people that they came to South Africa, I mean the foreigners who came to South Africa to work, also came with a story, because I have heard it from many people that when you get to South Africa and you want to succeed, get married to their women. They are hardworking, they have patience, and they take care of the men. The men are lazy, and all that they know is violent. That's what the other people who came to South Africa to work came with it. So if you get this story out there, it is very, very difficult for any lady to approach a South African man and say, hey, I'm going to agree to your proposal, because the foreign media and the other media has made the people understand that in South Africa, if you want to talk about someone you need to be with, then be with your woman. They are hardworking and they are more serious in terms of relationship. The men do not take care of their kids. Yes, I have also heard about that before. And then most particularly, they will tell you they are lazy. They don't like working. They are only interested about easy way of making money, something like that stuff. So I think it has gone very disadvantaged to the men. And it's time the reality has to be out.
So the predictor, what you are talking about is according to the media. What the media has thrown out there.
Yes, according to the media and according to the foreigners who came to the country. You know, initially, most people, when I say initially, I mean during the time that the whites were colonizing South Africa, most foreigners were not coming in, okay? But when the whites left, or when South Africa gained independence, a lot of other African countries started beginning to come to South Africa because they thought, oh, it's a nice place, there's greener pastures, let's go there and enjoy life. And when they came in, this is what they saw. It's like, they begin to get this feeling that, hi, the men here are very bad in terms of relationship and in terms of working to stabilize family and things like that. But the women are very successful because they are hardworking and that kind of stuff. So I do remember about somewhere around 2010, I wanted to come to South Africa for something. And a guy was telling me, when you come here, if you even want to make a friend to a woman, maybe a South African woman, don't even try their men because they're just going to mess you up. And, so people has lost trust, not even in relationship at all. People has used trust in all things by dealing with the men, either being in relationship or business or any otherwise. And this is how we foreigners knows about South Africa. You understand?
I hear you, my brother. I hear you loud and clear. And you are saying the first thing to do in South Africa is to befriend the ladies. Hey!
Yes, that's what. So if you could see this, I don't know if you can do your own searching or maybe your own finding. If you could see this, most foreigners in South Africa, those who want to stay in South Africa peacefully and they want to establish, probably will go in for South African women. They will not even come to their home country to take a woman because they believe in South African women. They believe that if you want to really enjoy life, if you really want to get established, take a South African woman. And there's one guy who told me that the country is being controlled by women. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Predictor, that is a topic for another day, my brother. But thank you for that. Thank you for sharing with us that information. Wendy is here, guys. Welcome, Wendy.
Hi, Osna lady. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah, okay, when I just commented on
foreign women. Yeah. So
Yes,
you know what,
foreign
Osna lady, now because I'm not a South African man, it's gonna be very difficult for me to speak on their behalf, ne?
Okay.
In terms of their because they've got their own reasons why. But I can speak on a few things that I think, I've heard people say, including yourself. You asked a question about, somebody said the reason why they don't date foreign women is because of there is a bad perception about them that is out there. There's a bad narrative about them that is out there. And you asked, why is there a bad narrative? Who is putting that bad narrative out there? And we blame the media, obviously, because this is where we live. I mean, as much as the media is bad, it's also good. There are certain things that we learn and grow because this is the world that we live in now. We don't write letters anymore, right? But what I normally say is, the things that are reported on the media, like for an example, Moja Love 157, people hate this program so much or this channel so much. But what I normally say is, those are the things that are happening. They are there, they are happening. We can't discount the fact that they are there, they are happening. It's just so sad, or it's fortunate or unfortunate that it's widely being reported, but it does not take away from the fact that those things are happening. That is number one. Number two, in terms of the narrative, I feel like when people speak about their experiences, then other people say you are painting us bad. If I come here and I say I am dating my boyfriend for 3 years and he hits the hell out of me, and I've dated another South African man, maybe I've dated 5 other men before this one, and I've had horrible experiences with all 5 of them. It's my experience and I'm expressing it. I'm not painting, I'm not creating and fabricating a story that does not happen just to make black South African men look bad. It is what has happened to me. Now, the fortunate or unfortunate thing is that because we live in the world of social media, you have thousands of women who've dated 2 to 5 or 10 black South African men who are relating their story. And that forms a picture. So we cannot discount the fact that those are people relating real life experiences that they've had with the Black South African men that they've had. I think perhaps maybe the downfall and on the men's part is I see a lot of men don't speak out. For some reason, I don't know, they just don't speak out about their personal experiences to counter and balance out what they have experienced with South African women. So now it seems because you've got 10,000 South African women speaking about 20,000 Black South African men, and you only have 2 Black South African men speaking about Black South African women. Now it seems like, oh no, Black South African men are horrible. Now I love Black South African men. I've never dated foreign men. Particularly my reason for, obviously I've got my own reason for that. My reason for that is I'm not too widely exposed to them. I don't have anything opposed to them, but I've got friends who are married to a specifically Nigerian man. And I can tell you there is one that has a Nigerian man that treats her horribly, but there is 3 others that I know that I've got Nigerian men who treating them well. Yeah. Right? So I can't really say, South African men are bad, all bad, or Nigerian men are all bad. I don't think that's the case. But also, lady, I think to also just to digress slightly a little bit, I think this issue it runs much deeper than what we are talking about now. To say, why are you not dating? Why are you not dating? It goes back, and when we talk about patriarchy, it goes back to that. I think South African men are angry. And the sad part is they don't want to admit it and talk about it. I see now there is a rise of, and I see there's a guy here by the name of Tsietsi, and I can see he's standing up and accounting and saying, these are the issues as men that we are facing in South Africa. They do not want to stop and let's look at ourselves and introspect and admit that we are angry. And I think some of the anger comes from, we can even mention feminism, right? When feminism was introduced to us, we all jumped onto it because we felt so oppressed. We felt like we could do better, we could do whatever, but that alienated our men. And instead of us working together and saying, feminism has affected us in this way, or maybe we are pro-feminism because it allows us to also contribute to the family household. I mean, the economy is so bad. White people have got control over the economy and things are getting worse and worse. And as Black women, we are coming and saying we want to help, we want to work. And then now the men don't understand that and they're so angry about it because they're so used. The value of a man has always been money and being a provider in the household. Right? And I think one of the other guy that left said it also to say, these West African men, they can work for themselves, they can provide, and that's why South African women love them and whatnot, right? And us as South African men, we have to go and look for a job that's going to pay us a mere 1,000 or 10,000 rands or whatever the case may be, right? So now I think because of the patriarchy and feminism and dismantling of all these systematic issues, South African men don't have the leverage that they used to have over women. So their value in being proper providers in the household has been undermined. And how they're expressing it, they are not expressing it in a good way. I don't know if they don't have outlets to speak to or somebody to help them to deal and come to terms with how the world is now. To say your value as a man can no longer be economic anymore. Because now women are allowed spaces to work. You're competing with the white men. You're also competing with the women. So you need to bring a different value than what you were taught by your forefathers in the household. Now you have these foreign men who are coming and bringing that particular value in terms. They still have the strength or the economic power to provide for women. They still have that. And now South African men are also hating on those Nigerian men and those West African men because they still have that economic power to come and become providers. They are taking from them the little value that they knew how to bring. They are taking over that. So that's why I'm saying this issue is it's deep rooted. It goes way back to more than just I prefer to date this, I prefer to date that. But SA men are not the greatest. I've only been dating SA men. And if I say I've dated 20 SA men to know this, they will come and attack me. Oh, it's fair, we win. You can see there's also another one here. I think the what guy on the comment section. We are talking about a pandemic to say there's a lot of single mothers. Somebody said South African men are known for not taking care of their kids. Instead of them sitting down and introspecting, why are we doing this? Why do we have this? They want to go and blame women. Yeah, it's because of the women. Yeah, you do this. Why? You have the power not to fall pregnant. You as a man have a power not to plant your seed where you don't want it to grow. So there is also no accountability on our men. I think, I think I've said enough, but I think that is the crux of, what I observe. This is a deeper root. Yeah. Thank you so much, Osna Lady, for letting me
guys,
express.
after Wendy has spoken, I have no words. Wendy, that was a mouthful, my sister, and I can only add one thing.
Sister Lady.
I will hold on. I will just add one thing on what Wendy said, and then is it Flo who wants to? Yeah, Flo, you are next,
Yes.
my brother. But can I just add on what Wendy said? Now, guys, when we say South African men are leaving babies behind, if you haven't left a baby behind, we are not talking about you. Now, let us learn that when we go to lives and you hear people saying most South African men, and it does not include you, we are not talking about you. When as an individual, you know who you are. You know what you have done for your child. If you are the one of the runaways, it will hit you and it will be buhlungu. Yes. So when we are saying most of South African women have left for a foreign guy, that applies to me, Naledi, because I've left for a foreign guy. But it does not resonate with Wendy. Wendy does not know how to date, has never dated a foreign guy. So let us not, this is what I'm trying to teach now. Let us not be sensitive where we don't need to be sensitive. Exactly. We are coming to these lives to learn and to be taught and to hear something new. Now, if your heart and your mind is not ready for something new, please swipe up and go. Because if you are not ready, what Wendy was saying before Ato, the moment we said South African men, you are leaving your children behind. Offense. Some people took offense, and it's not to offend anyone. We are saying according to the numbers, South African men have left their babies behind. Now, if you, as KG, you have not left your baby behind, haribui kawen. Now, we are going to continue with this topic. Now, we are going to continue the way that I am going to drive it, according to Na. I cannot start live. I started the live. So we are going that way, the way of having a healthy debate. We are here to learn. We are not here to combat. You did this, you did that. We are here to learn and understand our men. Why are they not dating outside? Now I will take KG so that KG can create space, and then Flo, you are next, my brother. KG, okay. You are next.
Oh yeah, no, what she said, I cannot dismiss and I cannot take personally. What she said to the largest degree needs to be recognized. And unfortunately, it's also a double-edged sword that I need to highlight that most people fail to notice. South African women are consumers of South African men. You're also implicated in grooming the quality of men you regard as worthy of consuming. And unfortunately, I'm going to say that South African women are no longer promoting good South African men. Their priority is experience, the party life, and so forth. They are no longer prioritizing, home building and the likes. As a result, they will continue to get bad men. It is not because just bad men exist in isolation. No, we replicate the quality of each other severely, and to the point that they see they will overlook the activities that men engage in order to gain success and money, such as they often do with our Nigerian counterparts, for example, who are often and heavily engaged in human trafficking, drugs, so much criminal activities. They overlook the quality of a man for what he can do. So it's I'm not trying to say South African men are not are innocent in this whole picture. I'm saying South African men have a lot to work on. They have a lot of we come from a very in fact we are still in a very oppressive and mind controlling system that is not building us in any way, and we need to gravitate towards something positive, and not how much alcohol can we stack on the table, but how much legacy can we leave behind. And our greatest battles and victories are not highlighted, like how we could escape. We were not supposed to escape apartheid, guys. And I'm sorry that media will not highlight that. The greatest battles that we were supposed to be, hey guys, we were supposed to be dead, majority of us. This was supposed to be the control point of Africa for the white colonialists. People are not aware of that. As a result, we both have enjoyed a lot of scars that impact how we relate and how we relate to each other, and how we continue to grow as individuals in this whole system. So I don't know I'm trying to, we are not innocent as men. At the same time, women need to understand that our women need to understand that there's a lot to be done. There's a lot that is short on their side as well that contributes to bad men. I'm gonna leave it as that for now and just exit. There's just so many parallel thoughts running through my head that I would like to substantiate, but each are branching out or so forth. But your bad men don't exist in isolation. I have never beaten a woman, but I'll tell you this: I've encountered a lot of violent women. I've encountered a lot of women that only understand violence. Then does it become? I'm looked at as a very soft and weak man. I get cheated on and do nothing about it, and then the woman would be upset in viewing how I react to the whole situation. I did nothing. What are you? A lot of you are I understand that the same system I came from is the same system you came from, but yours was more violent than mine. Yours justified violence as part of your love language. I understand that. And in that picture, there was a man. All I'm saying is that as women, look at the mirror. The mirror is the kind of man you love. Sadly. The mirror is the kind of man you promote. So, in other words, I recognize there's a bad quality of a lot of men, South African men, are bad quality, but also recognize that you cultivate that man. I'm gonna exit on that note.
Thank you, KG. Loud and clear. I'm gonna invite Fred. Fred, I'm gonna send you an invite. Please accept. Flo, you are next, my brother.
Sis Naledi, can you hear me?
Greetings to you. Loud and clear.
Here is the point. I think it all depends on how you are raised. Not taking away the point that media is destroying society and has been destroying and dividing a black society for centuries now. Here is the thing. The minute we start saying Nigerian men, South African men, we are saying based on how we are demarcated, of which that is a problem because we are all Africans. Because you can find a man that is bad in Nigeria and a good man in South Africa. And here's the thing. The minute you start getting into a relationship with a person, I cannot have the first child with you. The first child do 3-4 years. I do the second one with you, and I don't say anything about marriage. So it also goes to a point when two people meet. Where are we taking this relationship? We can't have a relationship for 5 years without marriage. It's highly impossible. How is that? Because if we get into a relationship to get married, we won't have kids that don't have fathers that take care of them. We wouldn't have that. And here's the thing. Most of the ladies, they're afraid to ask those critical questions. I understand you love me, but what do you want out of this relationship? And now some men have taken advantage that because you ask the person, when are you getting married to this lady? The guy will tell you, I'm still looking at this person. You can't look at a person for a year or 2 years, sister lady. It's highly possible. So as women, we should teach our daughters to ask those critical questions. Don't just get into a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship. And now it also goes back to what our kids consume. That is controlled by the media. And now these kids, when they grow, they grow looking at life as if it's a material thing. And as much as the other.
Hold on, Flo. Can I just come in there, because you made a valid point that my husband also said to me when he came to South Africa. Guys, am I cutting delay? Do I have a delay from my side?
A bit, but I think it's okay. It's just a delay.
Yeah, I can see that. Anyway, let me just then explain the point that Flo said. When my husband came to South Africa, after we dated for 6 months, he said to me, what have these South African men been doing? They want to test drive. South African men, you want to test drive for 5 years. My husband, after 6 months, he knew what he wanted. He knew that I was wife material. He knew that I want to put the ring onto Naledi's hand. But South African men, why are you test driving for 5 years? I think that is the point that Flo, I'll let you continue on your point, my brother.
Okay, and now as a society, our duty is to change the system. And look at countries like China. What is being fed on their media is controlled by them. 90% of media houses are controlled by Western. And now our own story in Africa is narrated by the Western. So as a society, as Africans, we have to change the system. We have to change the system, because if our story is being narrated by the media that is controlled by the Western. Now, Sister Lady, we are sitting in a situation whereby every precious metal of Africa has been stolen by the Western. What is ours? Everything that is original, what is ours? That is what they are teaching their kids there. And when we look at it, the way media is feeding the Africans, we see as if the Western are better than us, and they are not. And let me tell you something. In fact, the Western, they are actually bowing to Africans. Here's the thing. We are carbonated human beings. We are the only people that connect with the high self, Sister Lady. And every media will make sure that people don't wake up to realize that. And as we are looking at each other as Africans, we see as if men are bad, women are bad, all those kind of things. So we have to change the system. South African men are not bad. There are some people who the behavior of a person comes from his own situations, but not all men are bad. Not all women are bad. So it goes back to family issues. Look how you raise your children. Look the information that you lay to your children. Seasonally, I only have daughters. I discuss those deep sensitive issues that some other parents don't discuss with their kids. Because I tell them that one day I'm not going to be here. You should be able to stand by yourself. You should be able to question a guy. And when you meet a person, don't just meet a person on the basis of the person can provide for me. Meet a person, be with a person, so that even tomorrow when things don't go right, you are able to give that person the opportunity to realize his potential. I think I will leave it there, Sister Naledi. Thank you.
So loud and clear. And on something that you said, my brother, and which I want to add on it, you said that you have daughters. Guys, you know when a man is blessed with a daughter, when the woman is pregnant and then she goes to hospital and then she delivers a daughter. Hey! Can I just say something? The same things that you've been doing on other women, you know that other men will do it onto your daughter. Mara asiko lapho. Nkosana, welcome.
It's actually fine. This topic. Thank you very much for a topic here today. I can also start by saying I also have daughters as well.
Yeesh.
I've been blessed with daughters, 2 of them. I will jump around what Sis Andy and Wewe said. Sis Andy said South African men are known by leaving their offspring behind. And yes, I can attest to that. Not that I do it personally, but I can see it. It is one of the valid points that maybe would push South African women away. In a sense of which I stay at home. I think at home only my daughters I would say they are rightfully belong to our home in a family structure of some sort, if I can put it that way. In a sense of which they are the rightful heirs or something. My sisters have a lot of other kids as well. There are about 12 of them, 2 of my daughters. So we have 10 offsprings that have been looked after by my family. And their fathers, they are not present. So it is a difficult thing, difficult situation. Yes, 10 of them. There's a pattern that I've actually seen from my sisters as well, is that they'll try this guy, date them, Kuberite, and then they'll have an offspring. Yes, Jabu the song can, yeah, they will continue. But it also a point where Flo touched it a bit by saying you as women, you also cultivate the men that we are now. So if you meet a guy, you like the guy, you date a guy, and then now we have a child with them. Things they don't go well. We don't say stay in that relationship yet. You are right to move on, but you move to another guy within the space of 6 months. Here you are pregnant. You're repeating the cycle yourself. So it is quite a difficult thing to say. It is men's responsibility only to say the result of the kind of men you are getting. It's only by default their responsibility as well. So it is also mixed with something like maybe the political system, or how the current government has handled the previous political system and actually allow the situation to continue. I would also try and highlight this one thing. My mom is Xhosa. My father is a Mozambican. One thing that my father said a long time ago.
Nkosana, now you still within the
Yes.
southern. South
Yes,
African
yes,
guys,
yes.
I want you to leave. Okay, continue with Mozambique and South Africa. Okay.
Yeah, but what also my father said, one of the biggest point that he said, it's actually what I think maybe amongst the race or racial, they would also see about South African men, is that they are lazy. He said, my boy, don't you ever be lazy. Don't be the same kind of South African man. I know your mom is close and everything. In actual fact, I don't even know how to speak my father's lingo. So yeah, also speak Zulu and Xhosa, that's it. But he said it, don't be lazy, don't be like South Africans. So that's one of the points that I've seen actually when I looked, and I work as a professional engineer as well. So when I look at work, some people, they will take a simplest task and say, I can't do this, I won't do this because it's not I'm overqualified for it. And you said, execute it. If you say you overqualified it and you can do it, house closed, do it then. They can't even execute it. So it's something like that. You can see this laziness going on until maybe to a professional space. And to what Osis and Wewe said as well, to say, what are we providing thereafter? What can we provide? I'm also asking myself that question. What can we provide more over and above economic? It also blew my mind to say, what else? If I can provide financially, and what else? What else there to provide? If these men from Western and abroad, they are coming in to compete in this space, and I'm able to provide economically, what else should I do that they are doing? What is it that they are doing? What is it? Other than providing and loving the woman and building the happy memories. So what else? What else that they are doing that's so different than as South Africans are doing? I found that if you go to the core of it, it's nothing. Remember, we're talking about now in a sense of a relationship. A relationship is about two people. If it's going to be solely based on what the man does to a woman, it's a bit unfair, seeming that we are talking about a relationship. Are South African women doing enough also to cultivate such relationship that they want, or not? Or they just suddenly putting Western men on a pedestal, some kind of a pedestal, because they haven't tested the waters yet? Do you have enough sample sizes to say Western men are much better than South African men? No. So it is quite a sensitive topic, and yeah, we won't have all the answers, but yes, I like this platform because we can touch base with some of the experiences that individuals have experienced, and maybe we can change our mindset. But for me, it is not just only a man's responsibility to say he can be a provider. He's actually responsible for all other men's behavior and things like that. And also looking at the issue of maybe feminism, feminist-ish. I'll just have to say, I like maybe women standing up from themselves, in a sense of which I can say I like feminism, but I so hate toxic feminism now. And these days, it is very toxic. Whenever they open their mind, is not actually grooming the young women in a sense of being good women out there, being good leaders of women, being good wives to husbands to come. It's all about bashing out men. Men are this, men are that, men are toxic, and suddenly someone calls themselves a feminist. So it is what also in your part as women are doing. That would be my points. Unfortunately, and other guys they've also talked about other points as well, which I also attest to. Yeah, it is difficult, Sissy. It is difficult, and actually, when you see as bomalume uncles, you also see other men's behavior in your family, infiltrating your family, the violence around, and you see all these, like Andy said, leaving the kids behind. You kind of like, you feel like you are alone or some sort. That's why also I can say, Usiswewe made a valid point to say maybe we are angry. Maybe we're not, as men, South African men, talking about these things enough. We need to start to have platforms like this, and moreover that look into the men's mentality and state of being, to say, what are we exactly facing, guys? Let's stop just saying a man, hey, but let's just look at it in terms of what are we facing that is currently happening that we cannot deny beyond the fact. It is currently happening in my family. I can see it. I can see violence around 2 weeks back. My sister was being chased away, trying to be beat up. I had to drive and go there and things like that, man. They actually mess up with your mind. You say, should I leave my kids here? Should I go around there? Should I take a gun? Should I take a machete or what? So you don't know what kind of a man they are or what kind of a person they are, but suddenly all this relationship, the family, even people that you meet, the colleagues, all this is relationships that you get pulled into, and you are not responsible for anyone's behavior, but yet you're going to be judged by it. It is really unfair from a man's perspective, I would say, to say, what are we not doing right?
Nkosana, mouthful, my brother. And I like the part where you are saying, maybe South African men, maybe you are angry. And the part that maybe the South African woman is the full package for you guys. That's why you are not going outside. But here is my concern. After you have realized that the South African woman is a full package, then what are you doing as South African men to protect this package? Because Mina, I left you guys. I left you, South Africa. Wabona a Zulu man. I will never date a Zulu man. Anyway, story for another day. Nkosana, thank you. Thank you, my brother. I'm going to take Uncle B next because Uncle B, ule akatiwaki network, and then born to move. I think you are Mandla.
Thank
I
you.
learned
Thank you.
that your name is Mandla. I will never date a Zulu man. Bona. I will never date a Zulu man. With all isiphanqa and isiphonqo and isiphenqanqa sakhe angimfuni.
No, guys, like, can I make this point quickly? Like you say, you can't date a Zulu man. I also won't date a Zulu woman. I've tried, and yeah, the other guy actually also made a valid point to say, some of them, they seem to maybe to be attracted to violence. And when you are soft and calm, when you provide that space to be happy, to be calm, to be, family orientated, suddenly no. So I can't also.
Zulu man, I love you from a distance. Thank you, Nkosana. Let me take Uncle B next. Bona Zulu man,
Yes.
ere ke le bontsha hore ke le rata jwang. Ke le rata there. Eten Bona Zulu man, stay where you are, please. Bona followed by Xhosa man. Xhosa man, I will not even look at you. I will not even look at a Xhosa guy. Pass it by, never. Uncle B, welcome. Born to Move, I'm gonna take you after Uncle B.
Can I go next?
Dumelang Mhlabakhaitso.
Greetings,
I'm
Uncle B.
still safe because I'm a Tswana man. So it seems that you should have looked that way. Unfortunately, you couldn't. But yeah, personally, this topic, I think for some reason, I think you know that I'm a very patient person and very slow still to be able to anger. But this particular topic actually raises my even my inability or ability to be able to speak, all right, because it is really sensitive. Besides, I think just to mention this disclaimer, I'm a Christian, a believer in who Christ is, and I'm influenced by, like everybody else who's influenced by everything else that actually touches them. I'm influenced by him, but also not to be able to forget this particular part. Uguti, where Busan comes from, I have been a BC adherent, right? Meaning a block consciousness adherent in my days of growing. And I can say this to you, Sis Naledi, and to everybody that is here, everybody that is actually listening, and most probably everybody that is even commenting, to be able to say, I think the question that we needed to ask is, what I'm saying, the question would have been that we're supposed to have asked even at the beginning when this thing actually started. What could have actually went wrong, right? Whether about a man or even our woman or our women rather, in terms of either the psychology thereof, all right? But then again, to be able to ask as to whether what are the men out there, be it Nigerians, Ghanaians, and whatsoever, what was their influence vis-a-vis how South African men and even women were actually exposed to the culture during the day? And the reason I'm saying I've been a BC adherent as a growing child, all right? It is because I want us to get to the point of the maybe not even history 101, but let's look at political ed 101 as a somebody who grew up during those particular days, Ausnalid and everybody else, and begin to be able to say, maybe let's take it from there and bring it here, vis-a-vis what Nigerian men and particular women are actually have been experiencing, especially Central Africa up there and whatsoever, and all those things, and begin to understand one thing, Uguti, where we at, Ausnaledi, understand that this particular part. Very few of us, especially those of my age, have actually been raised with either both parents. Actually, not with both parents. When you're lucky enough, you'd actually be raised by a mother whom the father is not even there because there is a political segregation which was actually made. My father could not be able to move where he was and bring his family. All right? That's point number one. Now, as a result, we have women raising children. A father comes to the family. Father comes to the family after a year, right? So that when he comes, there is a child that is actually being born because he's not being there, right? The mother wrote, you know, meaning there's a child now. There are nappies that are actually needed. You send money, but you also have another family decide because you realize that you can't live alone. And I suppose that is a status quo that we're actually even getting as our African brothers come to the country. They would have wives out there, right? And they come here, they have a family as well because the wives are left home. By the time a wife comes here, there's always drama that actually happens. But I'm saying, now your father has to go back home. The minute a father comes, he's being told what Naledi and Busang have done so that he comes as a ho towards the children, not as a father. Sure. Right? Now, think about this. As a child, I'm exposed being raised without a father. So I do not even know what a father figure should actually be. All right? I do not even know how a father is supposed to be towards the wife because of the system that has been in place. And now when I grow, I begin to pick up on the system on what the system was able to impose upon my father. All right. Now, as a result, when I get somebody, I don't know how to even begin to love them. Right? I'm just saying, let us be broad. And I'm not talking about me. Surely there are very few men that are able to do what other men are actually able to do. And I'm saying now, some men are affected by that. Some men, they've been exposed to a mother. They would not want, they understand the kind of a mother who was actually frustrated while raising them without a father. Right? Now, I'm not so sure how that actually affects them, but I can imagine at some point, it either would actually make them to be closer to their mother or they would disengage towards their mother. But one thing that is certain is that the woman that they would actually begin to meet has to deal, or even the woman herself who comes from such a structure where there's not being a father, where a father would come or they would see different men who are actually engaging with a mother. And now, most probably that is a life that they need to be able to. Now, what would people then begin to choose? They would literally be able to choose the fact that we need provision more than we need closeness. Some of them, right? Some of them. And there are those who would literally be looking for comfort in terms of love itself, right? And I'm saying, think about a South African man being raised in that particular situation. You go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria. They've been raised in a family unit.
Oh,
they understand.
Uncle, I hear you.
I know. Ke tsaya nako gore batho ba kgone
No,
go futhumala
now, I add something ke bone hore re mo tseleng A1. So South African men who na le a little bit of fear.
No, how not? It's a system that was created by the apartheid system. A white man, when he moves, when no. Yes, you can do your faces, but let me tell you this. You need to take this into cognizance.
You know, Uncle P, why I did the face. Why are
Yeah.
we going back to apartheid?
No. I'm saying no. That is why Kirmo and Akir Ausnalit. Let's look at political education 101 or history 101, whichever way you call it. And I'm saying we have been affected one way or the other, and we have not dealt with ourselves. That's one thing that you need to be able to understand. Secondly, when a man has been set to be what we call a provider, now all of a sudden, a rug is actually being pulled under your feet, right? And I understand the element of why people are saying people are angry, right? I understand why they're saying that. It's because now you can't provide. You know, Ausna lady, maybe let me bring this one. Let me bring this one home. I have about 12, 13 kids that I'm taking care of. All right. Right?
Yeah. Including your own. Yes.
That's mine, my nieces, including a Nigerian man's child who's in my house as we speak. Right? Now, the mother had to leave just to go and see, to eat that outside of the country. And because I was, and the beauty about it is that because I was never raised by my own father, but raised by a different man who does not even know me from a bar of soap, all right? It is easy for me to be able to love children who are not my blood children, because that's how I was raised.
Uncle Pinka over deep, guys. Listen to this. The question is, why South African men are not dating foreign women? But now Uncle B is coming with the angle ya hore, Ausna lady, do you know how hore South African men ba tlhokofaditswe ha botlhoko yang?
Yeah.
I think I get you.
Yeah. And I'm saying, Ausna lady, taking care of this particular, and I do it with so much love, Ausna lady, you'll be shocked. All right. Wawana, maybe that as well has actually taught me to be very patient and understand that things will begin to happen. I must say I haven't left my kids. All right. And I'm taking care of other kids. That I also
But Uncle B, you know, as I'm listening to you, how it's easy for you to take care of someone else's kids is because someone else is also looking after your kids. Imaka. We lost Uncle B. Mandla, welcome. Am I right, guys? Am I on the right track? Am I saying the same? But do you hear what I'm saying? It's because mina baby mama ya somebody. Anyway, am I saying your name correct? Umandla ngisho born to move.
Yeah, what's this?
All right. Sawubona butwami.
Kunjani?
Angiyaphila. Mnandere.
Hayi, azokhala kusizi kwahlula imbuzi siyihlaba ngoKhisimusi.
Nangemisebenzi butmandla.
Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gents. Yabona-ke wena siswami into ebuhlungu ukuthi I'm gonna start. I was making notes here. Okokuqala, majority of South African men, they based in South Africa. There's only a few that are living outside of the country. So we can't really put it on scale, Uti. Why are we not dating outside of the country? That's point number one.
Okay.
And then the second point is that when it comes to media.
Hold on, Mandla.
Yeah,
so Munamuna lady being South African and I'm in South Africa and I'm dating a Ghanaian guy. What is your point?
That was your choice. Life has choices. Life has given us choices. you choose to be involved with someone who's coming from outside of the country, or you choose to date a good South African man, because majority of the time we are all bombarded by these bad things that are done by some of the South African men. We hardly hear the good things that are done by some of the South African men. That is the problem with media. Media chooses ukuthi basinike yiphi information, and majority of the time they always feed us the bad information about the bad things that are happening in our country, the bad things that are done by our South African men. Yes, I completely agree that most, or not most, some South African men are very bad towards women in general. And the media doesn't tell us about some of the things that are happening in other countries that men do. They only choose to focus on South African men. And the very same media doesn't say, oh, Shaq, by the way, our economy is very bad. Our South African men are standing by the streets looking for umsebenzi. You drive past a builder's warehouse. How many men are sitting out there looking for jobs? You go to another hardware. I can't remember all these hardwares. How many men are sitting out there looking for jobs? They don't talk about those guys. They don't put them out there in the media. They only talk about the guys that are lazy to work. And then they say, oh yeah, by the way, South African men are lazy. How many South African men are looking after their families? How many South African men are hustling? Like abanye balali. I'm not talking about the bad hustling, ukjonja and robbering. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about genuine men that are going out there to hustle for their families. The media doesn't tell us that. That is the bad thing about the media. You understand? So you need to be very careful when you read stories from the media. I'm going to talk, for example, there was a gentleman, I'm not going to say his name because for whatever reasons, I don't want to get into trouble. There was a case that came up, Ugutu rape umuntu wesifazane. You understand? And a couple of months or couple of years later, it turned out that person actually lied about that situation that happened between him and that lady. Do you hear the media coming back and says, oh guys, by the way, ladies, stop lying about rape, because rape is very sensitive. Rape affects a lot of South African women. It affects a lot of children. I understand. We have kids. I have a child. I once said to a friend of mine, if another person raped my child, I will kill them. I said it straight up to my friend, because the reason why is that sometimes our justice fail our women, our justice systems also fail our kids. And we are left with this anger because of our justice system. And sometimes some of the people who are within the justice systems are working with these people. So that is a very sad part when it comes to our justice system. Moving right along, the upbringing of a child, either the child being a girl or boy, plays a huge role on how that child turns out. Sometimes, yes, you can be the best mother and be a best father, try to instill the best values in enganeni yakho. At the end of the day, when they go out there, you are not there anymore. You just hope and pray to God, ukuthi can this child of mine continue with the upbringing, with the teaching that we have done for him or for her to the outside world. I understand. With the same token, sometimes they normally say, umfundis, akamzali umfundis. There's a reason for that. I understand. But the upbringing yabazali plays a huge role in enganeni, either being a boy or a girl. Because guys, can we normalize ukuthi most of the time we'll say things about men, forgetting ukuthi that very same men wakhirwa umuntu wesifazane for 9 months, wamzala, and then upbringing yayenzeka between umuntu wesifazane nomuntu wesilisa. We understand. But yet we'll say, this boy didn't have a father figure, didn't have this and that and that. Forgetting ukuthi ukukhulisa ingane, it's not about ubaba wakhe kuphela. It's about umamakhe nobabakhe, and also the community. Because another thing which is a bit of a challenge is that when you're at a certain level of your life, we community. Bakubuka ngendlela ethize. When you get to a certain level of your life, bakubuka ngendlela ethize. You know, in some communities, it's so easy for them to say, "Awushem, awuyindoda yalutho," because you're not at a certain level of your life. And enye into bafowethu nifanele niyazi ukuthi ngesiZulu kuthiwa amathanga awasihlanzeli ngendlela like at the same time. Like in simple ways, like life doesn't give us certain opportunities at the same time. So because of Brabi, Mr. Busang, at his 40, he got things figured out as a man. When you are 45, now the people start naming you names. People start saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, at this age you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6." That is bad because society sort of put pressure on you as a man. By this time of the year, by this time of your age, you should have accomplished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Forgetting in life, it's a journey. And izinto azenzeki at the same time or same way for all of us as men or as women as well. Understand? And then coming point number 3, a timeline. You would see a man. I heard someone saying, yeah, South African men, they like to test drive their women.
For 5 years, I said it.
Okay. They like to test drive their women. I don't know what he meant by that. But wait, let's be honest. The timeline ayikho. Yokubena ukuthi okay, now umuntu wesifazane uzothatha 2 months umazi bese uba ready ukumthumshade. Some people are able to learn their partners quicker. Some people, they take time to learn their partners. So you cannot put a timeline and say, "Oh yeah, South African men."
Okay, Mandla, let me challenge you on that one, my brother. So what I meant by that, most South African men, they will tell you, Uguti, I'm still dating una lady. And at that time, we are at 2 years of dating. So my question is, me being South African woman, what is it that we are still doing? What is it? I hear the timeline as well. Sometimes there are people who will click on the first day and they will go to the altar and get married. There are people that will know each other in 6 months and go to the altar. But Budwami, let us be honest. This is the part where we are saying, South African men, sit down, analyze this, eat it, dissect it, because we are talking to you, our South African brothers. You guys, you like to take us for a long drive. And this is what my husband said when he came to South Africa. He said, me, I know what I want. I see a wife in Naledi and I'm going to put a ring onto her finger. But for 2 years, Budwami, what are we doing? And in that two years, Imamandla, in that 2 years, sekunabantwana bayi-2 already.
Can I answer?
Thank you.
Siswami, you just said it yourself. Abanye abantu, they can click on the first day, tomorrow, bahamba bayoshada. Abanye 6 months, abanye a year. I'm not supporting umuntu ozothi after 5 years or 10 years, usazama ukwazi umuntu. We must also understand ukuthi we come from different cultures as well. Abanye abantu uzothola kuleyo 5 years leyo, maybe ukhipha amalobolo, usahlanganisa lawa amanye alobolo ukuthi aqedelele. We understand? And that's another reason why for us, for some South African men, becomes very challenging to go and date outside of the country, because we have certain cultures. And then Omunye umuntu, when they have challenges about cultures, kuba inkinga. If I want to marry you and you don't understand my culture and certain things that are happening in my culture, it becomes a problem. Culture also plays a huge role. We understand when it comes to men. Yes, some people don't practice culture. Some people do practice culture. So in the timeline, it's a very tricky one. Because like I can date you for 3 months. In that 3 months already, ngiyabokuthi okay, la siya somewhere or la asindawo, you know. And at the same time, sometimes you will say, mina ngibona future now. Then you'll be blamed ukuthi alo bekadlala ngami boys. You understand? So ukuthi abantu bashadanile kanjani, it's about it decision yabo bobabili. You understand? So we should just stop saying just because of wena ubuya Europe, ubuya Ghana, you came to South Africa, wahlangana nomuntu wesifazane waklika na same day. Stop saying, oh yeah, South African men badlala ngani. Just because for wena it happened ukuthi uklike nomuntu in 2 months or in a year, do not come and say, oh yeah, you South African men are very they're useless, badlala ngani, by test drive, you know. Because the same token can happen with a woman. You can meet the woman after 6 months, uthi amshad, athayibo ujahelephi. We understand. Then what? We understand. So this thing, a timeline, it goes both sides. It's not about South African men kuphela. Ihamba from male to female as well. I understand. So I think we should stop pointing fingers. At the end of the day, across the world, there are bad men, there are good men, irrespective of their color, irrespective of their skin, irrespective of their tribe. And okay, I don't know why she's what is it that she's disagreeing with? But anyway,
I think I know why MK is disagreeing. Let me tell you why. I think MK I think MK had you saying it comes both ways. But Mandla, who is supposed to propose? Naledi or Mandla?
But I said to you, Sis Naledi, I think you guys maybe after 6 months, I can propose you. I'm not ready. I don't want to get married. You understand? So
and then Mandla, you come back after another 6 months, Anish. Or you let go.
No, Siswam, if you propose when I'm ready, you must tell me when you're ready. Because I can't keep poking you because mind you're gonna get mad at me, but I told you I am not ready. I will tell you when I'm ready. You know, there was a guy who proposed his lady in public. Shame, it was sad. You know, I'm not laughing, but it was sad the way he was rejected. It was very sad. I understand. So this goes back to my point. Now propose umuntu, you are not guaranteed utuzovuma. Yes, it's my responsibility as a man to propose you. It's my responsibility as a man to give direction. However, if I start giving direction, utwena andizi, man we just met. You know, some women will tell you that we just met. Oh, this guy is desperate. You know, basically because when I put desperate, you move right along, and then they come back banji, but niggas about they label you. And if you take any as South African men, depending on ushata umuntu from what tribe, if Zulu or Mswati, Shatum we're not even talking about indaba zokushada. We're still talking about indaba culture. So as we need to be very open-minded about certain things that happen around us. And we must stop this thing of label band. There are a lot of men who are working very hard day and night for their families. Yes, there are some men, they abuse their women they rape, they do those. But can we not only focus on the South African men who are doing bad only? Can we also look at those who are doing good by their women, by their families, by this country? Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga Putmandla, so profound and straight to the point. I will let Uncle B continue on his point, and then
Yep.
I'm gonna take Andy. Thank you, Putmandla. Siyabonga, straight to the point, my brother.
Thanks,
No,
Milos.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for.
Oh, Askis Putmandla. Yeah, thank you
Ausna
for
lady,
joining us.
maybe my first point is actually been made. All right, the influence that we have, but also the change in the political system, and I think to a point when Ausna lady, and this is what I've always been crying for. Uguti, a lot of us who've been politically inclined in the country, all right, I think we made a mistake by hero worshipping our leaders who were actually outside of the country, because the system literally changed. The system changed in our country to a point that, in actual fact, instead of being able to benefit most of the brothers and as well as the sisters, it yielded, or rather, it yielded things that were actually uncalled for. But let me not even go there, but go to this particular point. I think we have normalized sex generally as South African. That is why even some men who come from outside of the country coming here, they like, is it how free this thing is in your country? Yeah. Right? Because we have now opened, not only have we opened our doors, we have even opened, that to everybody to come in, unfortunately. And the highest bidder will actually be able to get it. And that is why they've realized these people, because they have not been given enough, so because I can be able to get to the point where I can give about 3, 4. I mean, I had friends who were actually involved with African brothers. I mean, those that actually even did scams, by the way. Right? And I remember I would say to them, you're having a child with this man. He's coming with that particular money, right? That he has taken from somebody's life somewhere out there, who's actually crying because that money is now disappeared into his hand. And he's supporting not only you, but also your child. Now, ask yourself this particular question, Uguti. What happens when you feed your children with the monies that are actually being stolen from other people? Right? And I'm not saying everybody does that. I mean, I know your hubby, Ausna lady. I know Ghanaians. I know Nigerians. I know Kenyans, and very good men. All right. But I'm saying, are we in that particular position where we do our due diligence as South African women, but also as South African men? But I'm also saying, Ausna lady, I suppose, it is also an issue of preference. All right? It is issue of preference.
Uncle, let me just put a one-liner while you are talking. Even our 12-year-olds, they are willing to give it. What's making Uncle B? I think Banabaruna, they will even laugh at you when you say to them, Lerato, usansan ule virgin. Hey, they will laugh at you. Now, Uncle, I think I hear your point, what you are saying. We have made it so easily accessible that a man will leave Togo to come to South Africa for 16 women. And all that he has to do is not even beg. Continue, Uncle B.
Yeah. There's a lady yesterday, without mentioning who she is, and I found them talking, and she says to me, I got into a relationship 3 about, was it 3 years by default because I thought it's a one night stand. I mean,
Yeah.
just think about it. And I'm saying we have normalized that to a point that we don't even care about consequences. And some of us, by the way, I mean, I've been a womanizer before, by the way. All right. I suppose that's why I have so many children out there. And also, lady, I'm taking care of my children. All right. I'm taking care, I'm doing my utmost to be able to take care of my children. And let me even highlight this particular part. You would, of all my children, and I'm counting the ones that I found my wife with. I have, including my nieces, I have 5 kids who are at the university. 5 kids at the university. All right. 5 kids. All right. One who's now having an honors. The other 2 are doing third year. The other 2 are doing second year. One is doing first year. And I'm just saying, and others I'm paying from my pocket. Very difficult as it might be, but I'm taking it with a good heart, Ausnaledi. And I know it isn't a season will certainly be able to pass at some point. It doesn't stay there forever. It doesn't stay there forever. And I know some of the mothers that are there, they felt good. Hey, this one is Lambaniana. He might not be able to. Today, they are chasing me like hell. And I'm saying, no, but I'm married. I have my wife. Somebody who understood why they got married to me. All right. And I'm just saying, Ausnaledi, there are lots and lots of South African men that are actually good.
Yeah. And Uncle B, I remember the first time I spoke to you, we were just the 2 of us on my live.
Yeah.
And I remember you mentioning you have 9 kids. I wanted to run under the table. Uncle B, I have 1 and he's a handful. 9 children.
Yeah. And Ausnaledi, you know, it's amazing. I've realized one thing about life, Ausnaledi. For as long as you're committed to it, you get used to it and you actually enjoy it. All right? To do it for your children. Yes, sometimes it actually gets frustrating. But I can tell you now, Ausnaledi Hore, there is nothing. If you were to ask me about any of my child, I know exactly what they actually love. I know exactly who they are. I know exactly what are they actually going through. Because I would have personal talks with them, you know, just to be able to understand where are they at this particular point in time. Do you hear what I'm saying, Sis Naledi?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. And I've realized maybe Lame as well at some point. There was a point when I wanted to run away, but I realized I wouldn't want to do what my father did to me, to my kids. Thank you.
Uncle B, thank you for sharing. I think, guys, Uncle B, he is able to share, and you know, I Andy, welcome back. Andy, are you still there? Okay, we take. Oh,
yes, Ausnaledi, I'm there. Okay, so you know what I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about, you know, the finance part with South African men. That once we were standing outside a garage, and then I think 5 X5s went out with Nigerian men, and we were standing with the South African hustling men, and we were going, whoa, 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 whoa. X-Men's like, you must also remember that Nigeria attained its freedom 50 years ago. As South Africans, we only are in 20 years, so we're still trying to figure things out. We're still trying to figure things out as men. And you know, this guy was actually carrying something and pushing something, hustling. And I listened to him because this came from a hustling man and he had no interest in us. So what I want to say is I think we should be lenient on South African men when it comes to provision, because I can imagine. Let me talk about an example again. I studied accounting, and you know,
But
it was
hold on,
praised.
Andy. Hold on, Andy. The example that you made earlier on, let's
Uh,
all remember where is this money coming from.
yeah, I'm
Let's
still gonna talk
remember
about
where
that.
this money they are flashing with. Where is it
I'm
coming
still
from?
gonna talk about that. I'm
Okay,
coming.
thank you.
So right. Can you imagine? I studied accounting, and when you study accounting, you get this high praise. You're gonna get a job. It's going to be all bright and future. I can imagine in South Africa as well when we attained our freedom. The poor men. We were. I'm sure South Africa was very poor. The majority of black people in South Africa were very poor, like under the breadline. So we attained this freedom. We got this high and glory. Yeah, South Africa's gonna be great. And I must say there are very few men in South Africa that are what do they call them? That are lazy. There are very few South African men that are lazy. I won't lie. I'm not gonna be one of those people who say South African men are lazy. No. Uputi, as he said, Uputi, you will find them standing outside air builders. You will find boy children struggling to get into varsity in South Africa. I won't be the one who says South African men are lazy. No, there's lack of opportunities. Let's talk about that. There's lack of opportunities. Let's talk about Uti. Industries are closed. Not that South African men, yes, they must hustle, but guys, you hustle with something at least to be on a 3,000. But now, if you are starting on zero and we call them lazy, come on. Yeah, and we're gonna call them lazy. They're not bakruki abantu. They're not crooking people on the internet. Uguti, they woo women to say that do this and crook women online. They're not doing that either. So please, let's stop calling South African men lazy. I don't like it.
Okay, I think I have a word for it. Andy, thank you for sharing. And I think I hear where you are coming from. I think, okay, I hear what she's saying, and I'm going to analyze it in a better way. It's not like I fell from a tree and I got married to a foreign guy. I was in South Africa. I dated a few South Africans. Now, this is what Andy is trying to say. South African guys, you are not lazy, but you take time to do things. Let me repeat so that it can sink. So, South African men, you are not lazy, but you take time to make things happen. Anyway, let's take Tulu. Tulu, is it a guy? Is it a lady? Is it hi, Tulu? Welcome. KC, yay, made it on my guest request. Yeah, slow.
Hi, Sister
Let's not make it too slow or too fast, but slow. They are not lazy.
Can you hear me?
Oh, Tulu Kiwanyan. Hi,
Yes,
Tulu.
I am. Hi.
Okay. Hi, my
Compliments
love.
to the
Thank
new
you
year,
for
everyone.
waiting. Tulu. Oh, Batung. Tulu, you know what? Request again. I promise you I'm gonna take you. Nkari network ya how you shapaka dilo tse fatshe. Tulu, request again. I'm gonna take you again. Now, South African men, listen. Here is your problem. When the women are speaking and they are throwing something at you, take it and digest it. At this point, we are not calling you lazy. We are calling you slow. Digest. Casey, welcome.
Thank you and greetings to everybody in the house. Guys, South African men are not slow and South African men are not lazy. Ausnalet, we come from the same background with you. You know our struggles. I'm the first one to go to college. I'm the first one to go to the university. I'm the first one to graduate.
Upon graduation, I've got my siblings to look after. I've got a whole lot of I've got generational debts that I must pay. Be that it may. South African men, like I'm saying, we are not slow. It's just that we have battles. Most of us are struggling financially. And if you are going to compare us with foreign men, guys, a ticket from Nigeria, a ticket from Ghana, a ticket from wherever, from Kenya to get to South Africa, it's not cheap. Guys, the people who are coming here, who are from those foreign countries, are not your average Joes. Baba Tsongo Molapo, Lego Piri, Lego Ntonyele, Lego Stengvatir, are not your average Joes, are guys who come here educated already, and they don't have bursaries mostly in foreign countries, but are people who are well off, are your so-called middle class in their respective countries. And if we are going to be pitted with them, it becomes a challenge. We are trying to compete with them, but we are struggling. And the other issue, when you look at our taxi industry, which is the biggest industry in this country, it's run by us. It's managed and run and operated by us. You've got boys and timers who are 50, 60, who've been driving taxis, who wake up at 3 a.m. to go and hustle. So guys, be that it may, we are trying. The reason why we are considered lazy is because, among other things, is that we are not willing to take low-paying jobs with lower salaries when we know that the BCEA and the LRA is on our side. Guys, we need, as South Africans, I would say the South African ladies, we need to confront the challenges and be cognizant of the challenges that we are facing as South African brothers. Because, guys, we were with you. You find somebody saying that you are lazy, and you ask, hey, how old is your brother? How old is your uncle? The uncle is 35, 45, still not married because he's unable to do that. What's the use of getting married now at an early age, only to leave poverty at the back? Guys, the people who come here, they abandon their families in whichever countries that they come from. They come here to come and look after themselves. We have generational legacy that we must fix, that we must help. And fair enough, we sit here in this country. The moment you earn 7,100, I don't know what the tax bracket is. You start being taxed. Guys, and there's a whole lot of things that South African men are doing which are right. Now we are saying South African men are lazy. Are South African women ready? Are they marriage ready? Are they marriage ready to be married? You find most of them. And keep on saying that we groove with them on a week in, week out. Re a tseba gore o na tshwere ke Peter Maloba, re a tseba gore na tshwere ke Jacob Maloba ko Spotong. So are those the type of women that we must marry? Are South African, you find a woman saying in daughter must. You work at ShopRite with Paulina. Paulina is your co-worker at ShopRite. You all earn 8,000 rand. But she's expecting from your 8,000 rand to take her out on dates, to still have money for her when she doesn't have money during the month. And she's still expecting you from the 8,000 rand to budget. Guys, our South African ladies need to be in a point, or we need to be cognizant that relationships are not one-sided. They are there for the both of us to build towards a common goal. In most marriages, when we plan together as a couple, baby, 8,000, 8,000. We are staying go room go Tembisa. From this 8,000 rand from the 16,000 rand that we both have, how about we do this, we do that, and we budget together. We move together towards a common goal of setting ourselves up. But now, our South African ladies, with the very same money, they will be expecting you to marry them. They will be expecting you to take them to Konka. They will be expecting you to take them to Tasha's. And as much as, guys, now somebody made mention of feminism. Feminism is also even creating towards the challenges that we have as South African men, because our South African ladies, they believe if she's rude, she is condescending in terms of how she addresses men. That is when they are called assertive. And now one other issue that we also need to look into, guys, we are from toxic backgrounds. Most mothers, there are mothers who are, I wouldn't even call it pimping, but who are encouraging their daughters to marry for money and not marry for love. If you are a broke son-in-law, ufika kamol, but ngwana rona, what at least 2 series. Couldn't you find better men with cars there? Guys with cars and guys with who portray wealth are considered in families and are respected. How le mokgwenyana wa 2 series, guys? We need to get to a point whereby we have honest conversations amongst ourselves. Are our women ready to be married by us? Are we ready as South African men to marry? Because we find mismatches. We find mismatches in a sense where most ladies do not marry for love. They marry to escape poverty. The very same poverty that we are experiencing with them. You find a lady saying, "Yeah, hey, now who must marry your brother? Who must marry your cousin? Who must marry your uncle?" So guys, the sooner we realize that...
Casey, Mamela, let me come in there. So you said that South African women, are you ready for marriage? And I like how you turned it and you said South African men, are you ready for marriage? Now, let's take it in that context. Now, South African men, le robala le Nthabi, le robala le Naledi, le robala le Pearl, le Phrekise Tsholo. On the day when Casey wants to be married, he will not marry any of these 4. So are you ready for marriage?
Can be said about South African women. When you were in high school, you were dating a taxi driver on a regular path. When you get to university, then the very same taxi driver so that you can get your registration fee. You get to varsity, you feel so owning registration fee is no longer good enough for you. You start dating people who are a level above you. So guys, as you know, guys, this is a vicious cycle. We need to have honest conversations amongst ourselves. As much as you ladies are saying we are impregnating you and leaving you, some women are using men as step ladders to get to their destination. That is why immediately, after COVID, I will speak of this. I'm from the aviation space. Immediately after COVID, as soon as a whole lot of pilots lost their jobs, as soon as a whole lot of air hostesses lost their jobs, even their marriages ended. Their marriages ended. Guys, people need to start realizing our women are not as innocent as they want to portray. We are equally to blame for the ills that are happening in this country. In terms of us not marrying you guys faster, because you will find somebody. I'm from a poor background. They are from a well-off family. To them, their money is only towards them. My money is supposed to go back and assist my family. But they are not saying, let's sit down and budget together. To them, there's nothing wrong with you saying, baby, because we are looking forward towards marriage happening at a particular time. Instead of you paying rent and buying groceries and taking me out to Conga every month end, instead of you buying Brazilian, how about the chelete Brazilian and Conga? I will take care of the groceries when you can pay rent. With the little money, let's save towards you marrying me. And just to wrap it up, I spoke about issues of respect. Our South African women are losing a battle to Basotho women from Lesotho. Bomme ba nonong ba na le hlompho, ba tseba hore ntate ke eng. Bo ausi ba rona mo South Africa ba tla o jwetsa hore wena wa hlanya o le mang wena ha se wena ntate wa ka. You must just look at how our South African women are talking to South African men. And you know how sensitive men is. But in Dota Ifana no kwacha. A man is like a rabbit. Guys, that is my little contribution. We are all to blame in this. South African women, be ready to be married and portray the traits of a wife. Stop portraying the traits of a slave queen.
But what's making KC? I love your last
Mama,
words. Emma KC before also. I love your last words. Where you said both the genders, we need to check each other out. KC, thank you. I'm gonna take Tsulu next because Tsulu Sale Abalidi network issues. Tsulu, welcome.
Hi, listener lady. Compliments of the new year.
Tsulu, speak closer to your mic. Sponiso, hi. Tsulu, speak closer to your mic.
Okay, can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yeah, but
a little bit.
Why are South African men not dating other foreign women?
Good day, family. Yeah, no, now you're putting me on the corner. When you're saying we are going back to the topic.
Yes, because South African men, now when you want to fight Uguti Naledi, how much is your weave? And I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna stoop to your level. Because now you are asking, what is it that South African women want? What is it? South African women, are you marriage material? I'm not gonna entertain that. The question today is, why are you not attracted to foreign women?
Okay, now I feel like on the first part, besides, I think this just goes to the whole country as South Africans. We don't usually travel outside South Africa. We're just comfortable in our country, which limits us to get to engage with other people outside our country. You see what I'm saying? And secondly, we know it's also media contributes to that because the image they sell us of other countries is a bad image. They give us there's so too much poverty, there's war, they're killing each other and all those things. So basically, we end up sitting in South Africa, being scared of going out. Now, African brothers, they come and marry in our country because of, number one, they travel from their country to this country. So it becomes easier for them to marry because they don't mind taking a risk and leaving their country and coming to South Africa because of now. They just don't mind taking a risk. And look, I feel like, one thing, it goes back to the fact that now you ask about the time frame. I'm going to touch on the time frame because of, I think most of my reason why I came here is time frame. Time frame, it goes back to commitment again. If you look at African...
Hold on. Before you get into the time frame, let me agree with you on the first point you made. Now, I want to agree on this. The ratio of foreign men in South Africa is higher than the rate of foreign women. And you made a valid point, Uguti. You guys, you don't go out there and look for them.
Yes.
Yeah, now we are on the same page. Now go to the time frame. I will let you make your second point.
Yeah. So on the time frame one, remember, look, if a man can travel from Ghana to South Africa, that man is bold. He's bold enough to leave his country and travel that long distance. He's very bold. You see what I'm saying? As someone who's that bold, it means now when they decided to leave their country, they have some form of commitment within them. So when they get to a different country, they meet a lady, it's easier for them to commit and take action to make, because now already he took a deep action from living, like traveling for more than 2,000 kilometers away from his country, going to a country where he will only meet 3 people that he knows in that country. That level of commitment is just shows for now. That's why when they meet a South African lady, they portray, they show off the same commitment that they made from leaving home. It's mostly on boldness. Is what I'm saying. And now, so that one it shows. And then now let's go back to our South African brothers who are taking time. Look, as a man, I'm a man. As a man, when you already know in like 3 months that you are going nowhere with this person, that's a fact. You already know because of now. What makes a man sit and stay for a very long time with someone that he is not married to, or stays with that person for 4 years, is the fact that now he's just hoping that this person will change to something that he has in his mind, but the person is not changing. You see what I'm saying? So basically, the main point is that now rather don't waste her time. You know she's not the type of person you want to be with. So if you take 5 years with her, nothing's gonna change. It's her, it's her. You just have to accept the fact that it's her. Rather tell her, rather break it up if you have to break it up and say, listen, well, my sister, I know we've been together, but we can see that me and you, we are not clicking in any way. You know, we don't have same mindset in a lot of things. So let's just end it here. So basically, a lot of men, they stay with the woman for convenience instead of. Let me give an example. Let's say, for example, I'm dating someone and I've realized in 4 months of a relationship that now, listen, I cannot be with this person. I've realized that in 4 months of a relationship that this person, we just have different things. We have different values and everything. But because of she's available, maybe, for example, for sexual relief, she's around. The guy can just keep you around, you know, keep you around for so many months. That is why a guy can be with you for 5 years. After 3 months, he meets someone, he marries her immediately. You know why? Because already he found exactly what I was looking for in that person. And already in that 3 months, he noticed that now this is the right person that I want to be with. So most of us, we just keep people around us and say, you know, we'll blame a lot of things. We'll blame money that, no, I don't have money for Lobola. But you'll realize with time that it has nothing to do with money for Lobola. Because if your car breaks down, you're going to pay 40,000 rents, but you're able to put it out that 40,000 rents. But when you're supposed to commit to a woman, you talk about a lot of things. You put everything on plate. No, I don't have money for this. I don't have money for that. And yeah, that's what is happening most of the time. So you can keep on blaming women, but it's pointless because we are the ones who are not taking actions either way. And to keep someone in your space for so many months, for so many years, you don't even commit or do anything. Just introducing her to your family. Some men don't even do that because he already knows you're going nowhere with him. He knows exactly that. Listen, in his mind, he's not gonna marry you. You know the type of woman that he wants to be with. But for the fun time, yes, you are occupying the fun space in his life. But you know the type of woman he's looking for. You see, it goes back. And then again, another brother spoke about now as men we want to marry. You want to marry and the woman is refusing. Okay, let me say this. As a man, when you marry a woman, you look at qualities that you want in her. You look at the value system that she has if they match with yours. And then now you marry her based on the qualities that you define as a woman. Now, sometimes as men, you stay with a woman, but you're not giving her that husband qualities that she can agree to marry those qualities in you. Remember, ring is a ring. It's just something on your finger, but the real person is the person that she's dating. So if you don't portray those qualities that she defines as a husband or as a man that she can be with, she won't agree to that. You see what I'm saying? Like if already, let me give me an example. Let's say a guy drinks a lot, you know, when he gets paid, he blows the money in like three days, already drank the whole salary. They didn't even pay the bond or they didn't pay the rent or something like that. And now you expect to marry her and say, I want to marry you. You are already portraying that, listen, I'm not going to be responsible. So if you decide to marry me, this is what you're going to be living with forever. You see what I'm saying? So basically, as men, sometimes when we marry, we want to select certain qualities in the woman. Now, when you date her, she's also observing certain qualities in you that she defines as a husband. If you don't show, if there are not those qualities in you, then she wouldn't agree to marry you, my brother, if that's the case. She wouldn't agree to marry you. So on the issue of marriage, sometimes when the women reject, they're just rejecting certain things in you that they don't want. Now, let's go to the issue of money, that women go for money and everything. Look, I feel like it's a natural instinct for a person to go for someone who shows us some form of leadership. Success is I know we can say however we want to say it, but success portrays a certain level of step in life, meaning it shows this man has hustled to a certain level. We can say not money. But understand, everything needs money in this world. we can talk about money is wrong and everything, but everything in this world runs on money. Every little, even now I'm checking on data that is paid with money. The phone is charged, electricity has been paid. You see what I'm saying? Everything runs on money. So every woman in their mindset when they were born is that now they were born with the mindset that a man is a leader, a man is a provider. That thing has been born in them, it's built in them, it's in their system, whether you like it or not. Even you can say, okay, fine, I can give an example. There's a poor man there on the street. He's not working, he's lying there under a tree. There is a guy who's like, at least is working as like a salary or something like that. The two of them approaches you. Who are you going to give a chance first to listen to? As the one who looks like he has already some form of leadership in him, meaning he has a certain step of life. I'm just giving an example. So when you go back and say, look, our women are going for men with money, men, there are those who are slave queens. We don't support that. We don't support the fact that that is just wrong on all levels because of, there is a partnership system. When you're marrying someone, you're marrying a partner that you're going to push life and grow together. But a slave queen, when they come into space, they just come in to take. You know what I'm saying? So if a person comes into your space and they take, they don't give any, like not give, I mean like they take, there's no development of some sort, then it's an issue. That's a slave queen. You can't stay with a slave queen. It just doesn't make any sense. But for a woman to go for someone because they have money, for me, I trust me, at first I used to go against it, but I'm like, no, either way, I go against it. But who's sitting there in their space and say, I want to marry a poor man who's poor and suffering, drinking water only and eating pap without anything. I want to see they will struggle together. There's no one who has something like that in their mind. Every individual in their space, they are thinking of, especially for women, a man is a leader. Every woman, when they think of a home, a house, they're thinking of a man building it. When they think of a providing kids, they're picturing a man in their mind. That's how we're conditioned. That's how everything has been set in place. And even if we go to the Bible, a man is a provider. So all these things, if you look at them, everything a man was built to provide. So when a woman looks at a man who has some form of financial stability or strength, automatically within herself, that thing kicks in to say, listen, I've got a provider, I've got a leader. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. We can deny it. I'm being honest with you. Because no, I don't want money from a man. But everything is running on money. It goes back to even a love language. Every love language, I always say this, but they will always torture me for saying it. But let me just say it either way. Every love language has a minimum financial requirement. Every love language. Because now, if let's say I fall in love with you, I date you. If what you define as something that excites you in a relationship is going out on dates and everything, there's money that is involved in that. So basically, your love language, it somehow it needs that a certain level of finances that can accommodate that love language. You see what I'm saying? So it's everything runs on money. Our brother, we can always come and say, no, these women want money. These women, they want men with money. They don't want us and stuff like that. If I'm not working, unemployed, so now these women don't want me and everything like that. But we forget that we're supposed to be provider. Now I believe I'm a provider. I believe I'm a man. I believe, okay, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I believe I'm a provider. I believe that is within me. Even if I marry someone who's working, who has like a lot of money, I still believe that I still need to provide. Whether she gets money above me or not, I still have to be a provider. You see what I'm saying? So basically, let's not crush women for going for someone who has some form of financial stability. Let's not crush them and say, listen, you're going for money. No, sometimes they're just going there for security. And security is not about that they want the money from a man. They just want the leadership, the man that portrays and shows that, listen, I can provide. I can do A, B, C, D. You see what I'm saying? I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like let's not. I used to have an issue with mothers who approaches a guy and say, "Oh, my daughter, I want you to," because they can see the guy has direction. You see what I'm saying? And we can't say.
Prince, my brother, you have made your point. Otherwise, more than this, you are going to be off the topic. And I love the
Thank
fact
you very much.
I love the fact that you said by default, a woman should ask for money. I love that. I love that. Prince, thank you. Tsulu, are we back to the topic? Are you happy, my love? I think now we are back to the topic. Guys, why are South African men not dating foreign women? Prince, thank you so much. Your point valid, my brother. I don't want you to derail. So that's why I'm gonna take Tsulu next. Tsulu, welcome. Are we still on the Sporo?
Yes, I think we're back on track now.
Oh, thank you. And I'm glad, Lena Hore, we are back there. South African men Why are you not dating other foreign women? That is what we are asking. I think there is one guy who was honest, and I actually applaud him. He actually said, we are scared. We are scared. But guys, have you seen how a Nigerian woman talks to the husband? They call them stupid.
Hi, Asna Lady. Compliments of the new year. Tricky topic.
Compliments, my sister.
Tricky topic because I'm not a man. I think maybe I can respond as to, and I'm gonna sound funny, and don't come for me for it, please. I'm a very liberated but very traditional Zulu woman. I
Wow.
believe in the
Pearl,
authenticity
I don't know
of
if you
my.
can put those two words in one sentence. You are, can
Yes.
you?
Can
Yeah. You?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a modern cultural woman. Let me use the
But
word.
still cultural. Wow.
Yeah, very, very cultural, but very modern. I'm aware, Uti, as an African society, we are slowly moving towards the direction of knowing who we are and embracing who we are as the people. So there are elements of things or stereotypes that were said about certain tribes, certain cultures, certain nationalities, and stuff like that, that might somehow hinder our dating pool and how we choose people we end up dating. To say what I know would not sit well with a lot of people, I would like to raise a son with a highly element of a Zulu upbringing by marrying a Zulu man.
Okay.
That is ideally, I'll use the word again, ideally, twice, to overemphasize. Ideally, I would like to raise a son in a Zulu way so that he understands who he is and who he prays to and whose forefathers were and where he traces his lineage and stuff like that. And I won't be able to do that on my own as a woman. But I'll be able to do that with the assistance of another Zulu man in his tribe, in his family and stuff. Or, to put it light, and I said, and I'm aware that I'm not going to get popular for this. That might be the reason some of our brothers are uncomfortable with diluting the culture. Because of the stuff that we're told that might not be completely true about who we are.
Hold on,
Yes,
Pearl.
I was aware we were going to go there. I was aware.
Yeah.
I was waiting for
Hold
it.
on,
Then I'd prepare you for it.
Okay.
And
wait,
our
Pearl,
issue.
wait. Here is Mandla getting married to Fatima. Ne?
Yes.
Let's say Fatima is from, I hear what you are saying, but I want to show you something. So Mandla is married to Fatima. Fatima is from Tanzania.
Yes.
Now, why wouldn't you think the child between Mandla and Fatima would be Zulu?
No, I didn't say that. Remember, Fatima might be Muslim.
100. Tick.
And Mandla might not be Muslim.
Pearl, I'm coming on the point of saying you said our brothers are afraid to dilute and losing the culture. But I'm saying for the fact that Mandla has taken Fatima, the little boy will still be raised up in a Zulu culture.
Now let me walk with you. The difference is how a Mosotho woman, a Mupedi woman, a Venda woman are raised is through customs and traditions of their tribe. Now, for me, I am raised to be able to understand. That's why, I'm going to sound funny again for this. That's why when people say, oh, Zulu men are this and that. Tina, we don't have a problem with Zulu men as Zulu women because we were raised to understand them and they understand us and we don't have a problem.
So let
because
them
we are
stick
raised
with
by
you guys. Let them stick
exactly
with you.
that is the problem. Now the problem begins when you want to bring a Pedi woman raised in a Pedi way to now come in and even us, our families, we treat them differently when they come to assimilate. It's very difficult. It is very difficult. But we're not saying we're not going to challenge the status quo because we're saying it's dangerous. But I'm saying individually, I want to continue. I love who I am and I'm proud of who I am. And every time I pray, I remind my daughter of who we are and who we come from, who our forefathers are. And we must always remember that. And my brothers and my uncles, it's their responsibility to continuously teach us about who we are and our culture and continuously instill so that igama lamkhulu wam stays on, that uGaba continues for centuries and centuries. It's good, you know. But when now I'm brought into a vendor setup, it's going to be a different setup because I don't know how they were raised. And I'm going to always be an outcast in that setup because I'm there by marriage. But I don't fully comprehend their dynamics. And sometimes our brothers don't go out there because they don't want this whole admin that comes with me now having to learn Isvenda at the age of 34 so that I'm able to converse with Mahulu there. I don't even know 3-4 words of Isvenda. And the guy likes me, but it puts him in an awkward position. That means he must be here all the time translating. How am I going to learn? There are a lot of dynamics that comes into play. It's not just light. And I also understand that our brothers are into a very, you know, awkward situation. It's easy for them because they're the one who are receiving. But what about me as a woman?
So, Pearl, if I understand you, they are not attracted to other foreign women because of the admin.
There's a lot of admin that comes to it. It's not about how they look. It's their admin and expectation. It has nothing to do with how they look. That's my observation from a distance. And having lived with a number of women from different tribes and even different countries at the level that I was at, I can tell you free of charge, women who are not South African are very comfortable with their fellow countrymen because they don't have to explain themselves, because they know what their expectations are. And they're very firm with their culture. Because here's the thing. You find a Yoruba woman who is raised to understand a Yoruba man in a Yoruba setup, which means that man was automatically also raised to understand how to treat and be a husband to a Yoruba woman. Now we are saying she must bring this Zulu woman who wants to sometimes be a Yebo Baba, sometimes wants to not to be a Yebo Baba type of vibe. Confusing. And I indicated from the beginning, I'm going to sound very funny on this topic. There's a lot of dynamics and a lot of under layers. It's culture, it's admin, it's this and that, it's this and it's more difficult for women than it is for a man. It's easy for a man, but it's more difficult for a woman on the other side. It's a question of, do these non-South African women want to be with South African men?
Pearl, I'm trying to digest your last point. So are you saying it's easier for Naledi to get married to a foreign guy than a South African guy to get married to a foreign woman? Is that what you say?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Let me bring it home. Pearl is there's Pearl and there's Naledi. Naledi is in South Africa, and her husband and a future partner comes here to South Africa. It's easy for him to marry you and take you there, but it's not easy for you, Naledi, to assimilate and integrate there when you get into his home country. Do you get what I mean?
Okay, so let's take it the other way. So now a South African guy has taken a foreign woman. So
yes.
Are you saying the foreign woman, it will not be easy for her?
Yes.
Why? Why? Pearl?
Just like it's not easy for you or for me marrying a non-South African to assimilate in his culture. Remember, as Naledi, marriage is not about me and him as partners. Marriage is about me having to raise John's children, John who is from Tanzania, John's children in a John's type kind of way. And you must always remember, until we say we nullify the whole culture thing and the dynamics, and we are living in a modern world, and we it's easy. But for me as a woman, if I marry into your culture, I'm gonna raise your children. And when I raise your children, I must raise them through indlela yokwenza izinto yakini, which is your culture and way of doing life, things you as a man. There's a whole lot of people that are involved. So it's not an easy thing. And I feel like South African men are like, okay, it's my observation from a distance. And me having grown up with a lot of brothers and being the only woman, I've seen how even when they pick people they date, they know automatically, no, this one is not going to go any further because they're not, we're not speaking the same language. It's very difficult to be an outcast, Sis Naledi. It's very difficult because remember when you're now Musadu wa Musutu, and you probably are raised the Sotho way, and you understand the Sotho dynamics and the cultural aspect of it. Now you're going to be put in a point of go into KZN, there kwanongoma. It's easy for your man. He doesn't mind. He's just brought your wife home. It's easy. But is it easy for you? Is it easy for you as a woman?
So that's why they don't mix.
I said there's a lot of dynamics into not mixing. To avoid all this thing, when you'll be called by her, you would be calling him, baby, I don't know why your mother is saying I must stand, I must not go directly into the house, I must turn around because I'm a makot, because it does not make sense to you. I don't know why your mother is saying I must not get into our father's bedroom because I'm trying to clean, Because in my culture, until there's a ceremony that is done, you can only enter your father-in-law's house, his bedroom. So stuff like that. But I'm saying,
Pearl, when you are talking, it's like when somebody hits a funny bone. You don't know whether to cry or to laugh. So, yeah, the way Pearl came in, I'm like, I agree, I disagree. And someone said it, Pearl, you are talking from a comfort zone kind of level.
100% granted.
Yeah.
100% granted. And I'll tell you why it becomes a comfort zone. It is nice for us, and we must remember when I started, I said some of the things, and we are getting to know ourselves as the African tribe or as African people, which means there are a lot of things we need to unlearn and learn. Now, I am not saying this is the future, but I'm saying the current status quo is there are these dynamics that we need to look at that might play a role. And I can't come and stand and say the culture can be authentic or pure. There's no purity of a particular tribe or culture because there's a lot of dynamic that comes into play. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, Jackie,
what I'm saying
I agree with you. Pearl has the ability to confuse you.
Yes, guys, I really want to find the easiest way of saying this.
You know why Pearl una confusion? It's when you came in. You said you are a traditional but modern.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I am.
I think the confusion comes in that because half a second you are tradition, another split second you are modern. And it's hard to follow you because I don't know whether I'm still on the traditional track or I have passed over to the modern track. And I think that's where you are losing a lot of us.
Okay, let me put it in simpler terms. Being modern doesn't necessarily have to take away the traditional. Traditional evolves, remember, over time. Nothing stays what they are forever. So you ought to be aware that times are changing. That's why I am talking about the current status quo. But am I saying, is this the future? We are saying this is the problem we are having. And this might be the causes of the problem, on my observation. Now, I am saying to you, I'm fairly liberated woman. I'm aware of the things that are happening. I probably, more than any Zulu person, I speak six South African languages clearly. So I am not I think my tribe is supreme and it's the primary tribe. And I think my language is, you can mend them together and you can marry them. You can mend the traditional aspect, omit what you don't need, and, work with what you think works for you. All I'm saying is, let's not shy away from who we are because we're saying we're liberated and we're modern. But let's not use the essence of who we are as the African Black child. Do we have to be modern? Of course not. Do everything in culture relevant now? Probably not. There's certain element. In Bowodo, you must be shocked. I'm not tribalistic. You got it wrong. You got it wrong there. So take stuff that you think might work for you and leave the stuff that you don't think would work for you. There are certain things that are done traditionally that are not relevant now, and I think they're bullshit and they're absolute rubbish. And do I take that just because I said to you I'm rooted? No. I am saying certain people choose certain routes to avoid certain confusion in future or having to explain a lot in future. That is all I'm saying. It's just that I am saying you as a Pearl today ideally might want to marry among the Nguni tribe, but be blown away by a guy from Morocco and you decide to marry them. You never know.
Wow. I think this is the first time where I have an agree and a disagree thing in hotel. But in by saying that, I think I hear you. Our South African men, I think for the admin, maybe that's why they are not mixing.
And let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. And while we edit, let's talk about money. Please allow me. I'll just be a second. Let's talk about the money aspect on things. If you go back, just because I've indicated that I'm a traditional woman, I think I will dive into this freely. When our mothers were growing up and our grandparents, your mother would choose. I think Tulu said something about that. I mean, the gent who was here, I think it was Prince. Your mother would say, no, Kinahana Hori, Obakeng is a perfect candidate, and go speak to my mother.
Bali, please mute. Continue, Pearl.
So there would be that particular family that the family wants their child to marry into, simply because of their status in the community. And the status at that time was how many cows do you own and how are you known as a well-off family. If you convert that into the modern day, it is based on the fact that how much money that this guy make and how much, there's a bit of stability, so that the parents are aware that
I hear you, Pearl. That's why I'm saying for the first time, I'm like, I told you, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. You know that feeling, man. When something hits you there, you like, should I laugh? Should I cry? I don't know.
Laugh.
I don't know.
Don't cry. Controversy is nice. You must have all these things shaking your mind. I love you. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Pearl. Sipo, thank you for holding on, my brother. Welcome. Sipo, are you still there?
Yes, I'm
guys,
here.
Guys, o'clock on the hour, I am closing, which is the next 30 minutes. Sipo, shoot, my brother.
Okay, let me try, and I will try to behave because, you don't want to speak from a position of being a Christian as well, on the other hand. However, in my own observation, I think one thing from South Africans is the fear of the unknown. I think that's number one. So if you think about it as a man, you are the head, you are the leader, and you don't want to find yourself getting into something that you might end up losing your identity as a man. I think that's probably number one, because what if maybe you will be forced to practice certain things that you don't necessarily agree with? And I mean, if you look around, let's look at Swaziland. We can relate. If you look at Mozambique, you can, relate. There's Lesotho there, you can relate. I think also Zambia there, you can probably maybe relate. However, if you look at around, let's look at Nigeria. Obvious,
People, hold on, because this is the point that I didn't agree Nopel about. Now, Sipho, let's say for argument's sake, you are from the Kumalo family, ne? And you marry Fatima. Fatima from Tanzania is going to do amasigo waga Kumalo. But what is it that you guys are afraid of? Because you are not going to do Fatima's culture. You are not going to practice the woman's culture.
Yes, I think.
So that is the part where I'm getting a mental block. Uguti, you keep on saying we are going to lose our culture, but the man does not go into the woman's culture. It's the woman that conforms herself into Sipho's culture.
I think that's why I'm saying now, because I didn't want to talk a lot about the issue of cultures as well, because I can't really relate with that as well. I mean, for example, Sipho is married to a Tswana woman, of which I'm happy with that. I mean, because I can relate, because we are South Africans. But I think, as I said, that yes, the issue is that when you are not familiar with a certain place, that's why I said it's a fear of the unknown. Because obviously, I mean, we've watched movies, we have seen a lot of things happening around, and you are not even sure if you will be getting yourself into something. Remember, once you get married to somebody, you become one. So could these things affect me along the way? Make no mistake, women are very influential to a man. That we cannot, take it very light. It's like that. It can happen. So also that's why I said maybe the issue would be that, do I want to lose my identity at some point? Could it be?
But kanjani Sipho when you are the man?
That's what I'm saying. You see, because you are not sure in terms of how things. Let me make an example. There are people who are so much rigid when it comes to their own, in terms of the way they do things, certain practices that they do. And you are asking yourself, if I get into this, is it possible that I might end up conforming to that? Not really because I want to, but because I'm forced to, or I find myself in a situation that I cannot be able to come out of it. That's why I'm saying it's just a fear of the unknown. But now, also another thing, for example, if you look now, most of the people who are coming from outside, most of them, they are already committed. And it becomes a bit of a challenge for men to really explore those type of people. They are around, but you are not sure if this person is committed or not. And in most cases, how did they get here? And you find that they came with a partner or they came with a brother. But somewhere along the line, it becomes a bit of a challenge to actually break that cycle. And if you look at it, in most cases, let's make an example now. If you look at, let's say, Nigerians is very rare that you will find them in South African churches that are led by South Africans. But they will rather relate with someone that they know where they are coming from. Am I making sense?
Mm.
So you see, now it becomes because they feel more happy to be in that space or more comfortable in that space. But for them to really learn and be part of us, it's very difficult, honestly. But you will see South Africans flocking to those places because they feel it's a place that they can be into. But that is one of the biggest challenges. I'll make an example here. We have an Ethiopian church around here. All the Ethiopians, they are there. But you will find few South Africans that they would want, but they will never, the Ethiopians, to let go and say, let me go and be in fellowship with Sipho. And it becomes a bit of a challenge because also these guys, you can see how they protect the women around them. So it becomes a bit of a challenge for even South Africans to penetrate that. Maybe the easiest way for men or South Africans to be able to get to that it might be easier if I'm in Tanzania for a year or 2 years. Then it's possible that you might end up dating that person because you have
Okay,
experienced the
hold on,
environment.
people. There's something I want to disagree with. When it comes to Ethiopian religion, it's not the same like other religions. So it's not an easy religion to convert to. Now, they have their own Bible. They have
Yes.
their own New Year. So everything to
Yes.
do with Ethiopians' religion is different.
Yes. I hear you. I don't disagree. That's why I'm saying that for them to convert, it's a bit of a challenge. It's very rare. But for us South Africans, it's easy to actually go there. I mean, we have seen a number of guys. Let's make an example: Muslims, Hindus, and all that. We see South Africans, they start wearing all those type of things. It's possible. But for them, it's very difficult. And that becomes, it's a stumbling block. It's there, it's happening. So now, where are we saying? Probably we can say as South Africans, we don't like to compromise. In the
South
process,
African
because
men, you don't like to compromise.
we don't want to compromise. Because you don't want to find yourself, losing of who you are at some point. Because you can see that these people, they don't want to compromise. They are here, but they would rather be in their specific space, and you would rather conform to their standards. But do I want to change who I am? No. Right. But I'm saying that if, yes, you are interested, I think in my own experience, I've seen a lot of people that were able to, end up dating a person who is not a South African, but because of the fact that they've been there, they've stayed there in that place for some time. And they realize, you know what, I can't do this. Because it does not necessarily mean that if people are saying that place is bad, it does not mean that everybody that is there is bad. There is good. There is something that you can get there. But it's just that also we don't want to find ourselves in trouble at some point. Well, with ladies, it's easy. We've seen that in South Africa. It's easy. And I think also, the interesting part about people from outside, that they are quite good. I mean, I would say they are hard workers. You see them because they are here to work. So the question would be, what if, as a South African man, yes, this person I found her, she's working very hard. What if I am just the doorway for this person for citizenship? Those are some of the questions that you will ask yourself as a man. To say, okay, I'm taking this lady, but I've never been to, to Tanzania. Yes, she brought some people, and she said, these are my family members, you believe them. But what if I am in this, I marry this person, only to find out, no, the person was just looking for one specific thing? Because the truth of the matter is that they will still want to go back to their home. So I think those are some of the, as I said earlier on, it's an issue of, the fear of the unknown. You're not sure. I hope I'm making sense.
You are making a sense, Wenasipo. And I like what you keep on stamping on. You South African men, you are scared of the unknown. Full stop. It doesn't matter. We take the swimming pool and we discuss the swimming pool. We take the tree, we discuss the tree. What you are saying right now, you are scared of the unknown.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That's how I take it. Yeah. that's how I see it. Yes, because I mean, honestly, you don't want to find yourself in something that you don't know. That's why I said it's easy if you look at, for example, Lesotho, because we've lived with these people for some time and we see them as brothers and sisters. You can relate. It's easy as well to access that area. If you are in Botswana, it's easy to access Botswana. You still feel like you can relate. But when it's something that is a bit far, then you're not sure. So if you were to go there as a man as well, when you are saying you are going there for what? Are you going to stay at the lady's house?
You have, I think that's what I was saying to Uncle B. You have fear of the unknown.
Of course, because also, I mean, if you are a man, if you are going to go to a lady's house, you are not married yet, but obviously you'll have to conform at some point. What is it that you're going to learn there? Because you're expecting this person to come this side and be the one that is going to learn your stuff.
Then, Sipo, one question before I let you go. Then why
Yeah.
is it easy for Naledi to go to Togo when I've never even seen the day of Togo? It's
I think,
because
yeah,
Siapa.
as I said,
Sipo Siapa.
Masetinyane, South Africans, papa. And number two, I'll make an example here. There's a lady that does my wife's hair. They are from, I think, from Congo. They are Congolese. And I will tell you this. This Congolese always says this. She will say, South African women are lazy. She says, I've got all these women that are working with me here. I've given them a space, but let me tell you, they can come here at 9, at 10 o'clock, but I've opened here at 6 o'clock. So in other words, she feels that they are there, they know why they are there, but South Africans, they are also enjoying to get things for free without really working for them. So they're always looking for an
I
easy way of getting
disagree.
things.
So South African women are now lazy. Lazier than the
Apparently,
men.
that's what they think, that's what they believe in. However, I don't agree. I also disagree. I agree and disagree as well, based on the experience that also we have seen and see how people behave. But I think the key thing here is that if we are those people that are valuing ourselves that much, we wouldn't be doing that.
Sipo,
That's how I see.
You had 9 good points. So I'm not going to add this one because this is a bad one. And we're going to forget that you made 9 excellent points. Thank you, Putwami, and thank you for your patience. Guys, I'm going to take Jerry next. Jerry is our guest from the United States of America, but he is currently in Kenya looking for wives. Hey,
Yes,
Jerry.
thank you. Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to make the point. I think that everybody is trying to analyze this question. But if you look at, I was just looking at the stats as far as income goes. The thing is that almost half of the men's salaries are in South Africa are less than what they consider the living wage or something like that. So you're talking about, in order for you to be making advancements in pursuing women from other countries, you have to be able to get there, right? Or you have to be able to maintain making those relationships, which are expensive fees for phone and internet and stuff like that. So if you're not making that much income, you're not reaching out to those individuals. And then what's the appeal? If you don't have something appealing to offer to somebody from another country, an opportunity, so to speak, then why would you settle for that? Because you can settle for someone where in your area if you want to. So you have to have some kind of a draw. But most of the people that are going to other countries and developing relationships, those are people who are, what do you want to call it? They're go-getters. They're pioneers. They're people who are applying themselves and taking action. So that's not your average individual to begin with. So I don't think it has as much to do with what people are saying about the culture thing and trying to maintain culture, because even if you intermarry across other countries, you still can hold on to your core cultural values. And a lot of, and I'm not going to say that it's for South African cultures, but I know for a lot of the countries and cultures that have been colonized, a lot of people don't even know what their culture is before colonization. They know what their culture is after colonization. So, I mean, I know that's a big part of what it is in the U.S. and a couple other countries I've seen. Most people don't even know what, because when they start even doing like some of their ceremonial dresses and regalia and materials, a lot of those things they wouldn't have had access to before colonization. So, and some of these principles that have been spread or practices were spread because of colonization to begin with.
Jerry, hold on. Let's go back to your first point, because I'm still digesting your first point, where you
Okay, go ahead.
said the average salary of a South African man is not enough. So does making a foreign man look appealing to a South African woman? Is that what you say?
Well, what I'm saying is that if the men aren't earning if there's a large sum of men that are not earning a decent salary, they're not leaving South Africa. They're
Oh,
they're also not reaching out to other countries looking for relationships, because they can't afford to even get there or bring that wife back, or you know what I mean? They might be looking for people who can change their financial situation, but they're going to be, you know, there's so many of
Jerry,
them.
I think I get you now. I get you now, because one of the speakers did say that, guys, think about it. A ticket from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Congo, it's very expensive. And when you get to South Africa, you need to look after yourself. You need roof over your head. You need food. So I hear what you are saying about the salary. So salary is not on their side. I hear you. I hear you, Jerry. Good, valid point indeed.
Yeah, and Pearl's mentioning that it's not about earning, it's also how they spend their money. That's also true, because you can have a little bit of income, but if you spend it wisely and you take care of your resources, you can have quite a bit. But, you know, some of those behaviors aren't learned. You know, how to budget, how to utilize every ounce of resource that's available to you. That's not kind of how the majority of society functions.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Now, I think you clarified your point, Jerry, and valid point indeed. Something that I didn't think of. Maybe the money they have does not allow them to travel out.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Well,
on,
and you
Jerry,
know,
and then I take
yeah,
Lerato.
I'll try to be quick so that others can speak. The other point was somebody was saying that we got off topic, where you have people basically bashing South African women instead of really addressing the question. And unfortunately, we have a lot of men who do that. Doesn't matter what country they're from. They start slamming that the women aren't up to their approval or standards or whatever. And I think that's a shame, you know, because really it has nothing to do with it. If the men, and usually the thing is primarily people are going to access the people that are close to them. That's the norm. What you have, the easiest thing that's available, you'll get. You don't necessarily run and go get rice from China. You get rice from the store close by.
Correct.
You know, that's what you do. So it's the same when it comes to your relationships. Who do you interact with on a regular basis? And that's where you're forming a lot of your relationships. So, you know, there's only a handful of the passport individuals who want to travel the world and embrace other cultures and meet extraordinary people.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry. I hope you are having so much fun in Kenya. I could see some feet flying behind you. But anyway, my love.
I'm good. Happy New Year, darling. It's
Happy
a
New Year,
public
my love.
holiday still on
Compliments.
this side. Now, I'm going to be short. Am I not echoing on your side?
No, you are sharp.
Okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to agree with the previous speaker and many others who say that we don't go out a lot. And in all honesty, when you don't go out a lot and you're doing your best to acclimatize to your situation, it might be a bit difficult to look outside what you know. And agreeing with the admin part also. But I also want to say it's funny that you said let's not say anything about apartheid. But what I want to pick out is our leaders that left our country, went to exile, and came back having exchanged wives, at least like married each other's exes, and came back and literally continued that. So we except Gracia, I don't think we have any other foreign first lady.
Yeah.
And even with our ministers and most executives that have been abroad, they came back with whoever they left with, those that got divorced, married other people's wives, and those that came back home without partners literally continued to marry their own. And it could be that it's monkey see, monkey do. If my father hasn't done it, it might be a bit challenging to do it. Look at us, whether it's our cultural wedding songs, etc. Most of the time, we groom women to go get married dithabeng, to nations.
Yeah.
Basadi ba ya dithabeng. And because as a woman you are groomed to get out of your family and acclimatize outside, perhaps maybe that's why it becomes easier for women. I'm not saying it should be difficult for men, but also if it hasn't happened a lot in your family that you go cross cultural or even go international, it might be a bit challenging. So it's literally human behavior that we're all studying to say what kind of examples do we become as parents? What are we grooming our kids to become? So if you're a guy and your whole community in the whole society, you're gonna be a go-getter to come back and bring a Chinese woman and perhaps go stay outside where we are not at. Even if you are coming from the Free State in Kwakwa, where I come from, after you marry that woman, maybe you guys are going to be residing somewhere in Gauteng, where she will meet a lot of her own and be in a multicultural kind of environment. But maybe not go back and stay with me and my own back there. Or perhaps we're still going to go abroad and be in a multicultural environment. But it's just an observation to say maybe you would have to be a go-getter, get out of your own system. But under normal circumstances, we actually do our best to normalize things. Yes, we don't want to blame apartheid, but if you've been locked in one area of your country and then you get an opportunity to get outside the small area, the biggest leap you've made was cross a province. And so that could be the experiment that you're coming up with to get a woman, a woman in this case, because we're talking about men, a woman out of Free State, then get a woman in Limpopo. But that's the first step. But maybe if things were equalized, the first step that you would do is get out of the border. And we do know that we don't travel a lot. That's why we even brought initiatives like Short Left and stuff to make ourselves be okay with South Africa. Now, other things could be far-fetched, but yes, maybe we should break boundaries, go out there, express ourselves more, sell ourselves more, because I guess even if our guys can go to other countries and marry other women that are not South African, even when it comes to trade, we can now start doing business in other places, and then we can actually expose ourselves to other countries. But that's just my 2 cents worth, avoiding to say that we've been, in the apartheid system.
Yeah. Let's avoid that part.
Yeah.
But ke a utlwa Lerato, you came in on a point here where we don't travel. So how would we be exposed to them? And I think that was my first point when I started the live. I said even when the foreign women are in South Africa, they are just in to study and then they zoom out. It's not like compared to the men where they are coming for greener pastures. So the ratio of Naledi being exposed to a foreign man is higher than Thabo being exposed to a foreign woman. Now, we need to give them that a benefit. Hurry. For Naledi is 90% and for them is 10. And I like what Sipho said. Sipho said siyasaba. So even that factor, so it brings the number down. It even makes it to 5% of what is available for them. And another thing I want to add, do they find them attractive? That is another factor. Because here is this Kenyan woman walking down the streets of Soweto. No one will go, baby unjani. So that also adds for them, because it's like, oh, okay. So that number again goes to 2%. And yeah, I think I understand our men little bit. Conquer. Lerato, thank you, my love. I will let you go. Maybe tomorrow I will let a few women in. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. Conquer, how are you? I know you've been kicked out by the network. Welcome back.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, madam. I hope you can hear me right there.
Loud and
Can
clear.
you? Okay. As for me, I'm going to speak for myself. I think this is the first time going live ever since. So bear with me. I'm not going to articulate everything, but I'll try by all means to reveal my points. As for me, I think it's a lack of source of income, because when they come, when they are coming from their countries to South Africa, they are coming here for a living. So number one, how can you build with someone when you don't have anything? Because us as men, as South African, we don't have money, even though we go to universities, we go to somewhere to colleges to find a living. We don't have money. That's the truth. So, and then when they are coming to South Africa, they are coming here for a living. So even our very own women, they became so extremely bad to us men, very toxic to us. Even our very own women, they don't want us. They prefer other nations compared to us. So I think the problem is us, South African men, where we are exposed to pornography due to lack of source of income. We don't have plans. We are starting businesses, but we lacking skills and stuff. So even me, I'm
Conquer,
working.
please take me to that point of pornography. I think I lost you there.
You see, the way we are, so the way we are exposed to pornography because even our very own women don't want us because we don't have money. And I don't know how can I put this, but we are being destroyed slowly but surely. So I don't know how can I put this, but I think
So
it's
when a Conquer begile so, how do I know
yeah,
that you watch porn?
I
I
do
think
watch
that
porn.
is where I'm getting a mental block.
I do watch porn, and I'm
Yeah,
not interested to.
yeah. But I'm saying
Yeah.
now elaborate your point. What do you mean? Yeah, for those ones who watch porn. Now, how does Naledi identify that guy?
How can I put this?
No, it's because you lost me. You lost me, Conquer. You said most of South African men, they watch porn. Maybe that's why Banji. Now I'm asking you to analyze that point. European men watch porn. US men watch porn.
Okay, that thing is really affecting our mindset to a point whereby we don't think about women building and so forth. That thing is really affecting us South African men, and even to schools. The pornography is being introduced strategically, so that is why African men has lost the dignity and that eager to approach women. So it's gonna be difficult for us to see other nations, even our very own women. We don't see them
Because
because
of
we don't
porn.
because of pornography, lack of source of income, poverty, and so forth.
Okay.
I think that's my point. And the to get pleasure, we watch porn, and that thing is really destroying us. Because even if we're getting those jobs, if we get something to live and start building, there is porn. Pornography is really killing us. So I think it's gonna be difficult for South African men to date other nations. Like, as for me.
So, Konka
That's me.
Mamela, you are South African, right?
I am South African.
Can I give you a homework as a South
Okay.
African man? Now your homework is, when as a man that grew up in South Africa and you notice that porn is killing the society. Now here is your homework. What have you done to send to the officials? I'm talking about your mayor, prime minister, and the president, to let them know that this porn is killing our generation. Konka, are you somebody's father? Because I want to use your child's name.
The thing is, even my brain cells are already damaged, so it's gonna be difficult for me to send that thing because I enjoy it. It's like it lives in me. So I don't know. I don't know what can I say, but it's gonna be difficult for me because I live with that thing.
So, Konka, if I understand you,
yeah.
For your children's sake, you want the government to leave it because it's so nice. I'm enjoying it, Ausnalet.
No, my brain cell have already damaged. As for me,
Konka, I'm talking to you as the woman of the house, and I'm saying you, the head of the house. Why don't you go out there and represent the generation that is coming after? I'm sure when your brain cells are gone. But my son's name is Ufense. Ufense's brain cells are still intact. But when I Konka, as the head of the house, you are going to represent us and say this thing is killing us. But you don't want it to go.
I think that's a beautiful point, but
Labona White is married to South African. Ari Ausna lady is a beautiful point. What is the next step, Konka?
I don't know. I don't know.
So, Konka, you are saying no offense angene in that pile of junk.
No,
No,
that thing is bad. That thing is bad. Bad.
And ask the Prime Minister to remove it.
Is it possible?
Sidiba, they asked a question. Is it possible?
Ausnali Lekai. Mama. I think Konka unida solution, unida counseling. Because issues are the porno, the addictive. So I don't know on this.
In the beginning, Sidiba, Konka said, I don't watch that nonsense. But now he's addicted to it.
Yeah, but now, because in the beginning was afraid to talk about it. Now it's out.
You get my point? So what I can say now to Conquer, you need help. If there is any profession, somebody who know about this, please can you assist the Conquer? Because
Hold
this
on,
is a serious
Sidiba.
problem.
Conquer, do you need help? Pela Sidiba, they have to accept first. You don't throw
Yes.
help onto somebody. Conquer, do you need help?
Wow, I'm shocked.
Conquer is South African, guys. Conquer, the question is, do you need help? Okay, he's out. Sidiba, let me close with you, my brother.
Yes, ma'am, Lekai.
Rapila. Munati fela, my brother.
Okay, Kaleboga, I'm just gonna be quick, ma'am, because I know you are tired. You need to go and rest. As much as you say you don't want to hear apartheid issue, but unfortunately, because of effect of apartheid, the seed they are still planting in our heart as men, South African men. Because in that time of apartheid, we were separated, where Zulu must be in KZN, Pedi must be in Lesotho, Leboagomo and stuff like that. So even now, there is cultures that they will tell you, don't bring a Zulu woman here, or don't bring Xhosa woman here. You get my point? So now that seed is still there, But now, because now things are changing, and our old parents are passing on, people, that is where they're starting to jump the provinces. That's where you can see a Venda guy marry a Zulu woman. So another point that I want to raise to South African women, we as a South African men, we love you. We love our South African women. And even though our South African women, they canceling us every time they're calling us names, but you will never hear South African men say bad things about our women. Because why? We love them. We love our women. So please, South African women, know that we as a South African men, we love you. That's why we never ever gonna cancel you. We never gonna call you names. Even though you South African women, you calling us name, you've got the small arm, you've got this, you've got that. But we will never cancel you, because why? We love you. I thank you, Ausina lady.
Sidiba, please come tomorrow, ne? Please, come back tomorrow. I will take you on my first panel. I want you to be the first one, because, please.
First of all, I'd say it's a very interesting topic. I would close it off by saying that there's obviously an element of fear. If we look at your question, you said, why do South African men not date foreign women? There's obviously an element of fear on the South African man side of things. And it obviously has root causes. I mean, you don't want to go into some of the causes, but we have to acknowledge that they are a product of that foundation. But in terms of listening to this live, there's also lots of opportunity. So we're not hearing anything negative. Fine, there are preferences, which I think Tulu and a couple of people have pointed out, but it really is a territory that people haven't really explored. And if they can overcome the fear, I think it could be a very interesting collaboration. And Mrs. Pearl, I understand you're very traditional and stuff, but tradition isn't static, and you pointed it out yourself, it evolves. So as Africans, whether we like it or not, Ubuntu is part of who we are. If I look at myself, if you look at Central Africa, Southern African, I am literally a mixture of every single part of it. So I mean, I think for me, I'll close. There's lots of opportunity, and I'm very excited about tomorrow's session.
Yeah. Cool.
But before we close off, just one thing, Mrs. Pearl, I want to just support Conquer in his statement when he said, he's addicted to pornography and he can't, there's value in what he said. if you look at athletes before you run a race, or even these basketballers, you advise, please do not have sex. And there's a specific time they give you, because that energy, the creative sexual energy, is used for creation. Now, if you cannot harness that, how are you supposed to do business? How are you supposed to create something? How are you supposed to attract women? So I think if we could just delve a little into that, because it is the energy of creation.
Yeah, I hear you, MK, and I agree with you, my sister, 100%. And I think the same point, MK, I know, MK, I started with you from the beginning. Even when Uncle B came in, Uncle B said sex is easily accessible in South Africa. It's on the table. Now, if you look at places like Ethiopia, Uganda, I'm trying to mix here, whereby sex is still sacred, where it is still taboo to be sitting on a platform like this and talking about sex. But South Africa, I even said to Uncle B, a 12-year-old on the table. A 12-year-old will tell you about women on top. Guys, a 12-year-old obalang grade, is it grade 8? Where is a 12-year-old, guys? Balance it more. Where is a 12-year-old? Is it grade 6? No, grade 8. Now, this is a child who still wears uniform. Grade 6. Thank you, Val. So a 12-year-old, Kimwana grade 6. Thank you, guys. So 6, 7, depending on the age. Thank you, guys. So a 12-year-old, we are talking about a 6th grader. This girl can tell you sex positions.